Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia. Or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. We'll have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
Damien Watson with you on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM. It's currently 8.1 degrees outside in Melbourne's outer eastern suburbs. You can tell it's cold by my voice as well due to the inclement weather. There's a progress AFL score currently taking place between Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs down in the Apple Isle at Aurora Stadium in Launceston, and thus far Hawthorn have the early break over the Dogs 14 minutes into the first term, and they lead it by 20 points, 3-4-22 to the Western Bulldogs, just the two behinds. The goal scorers thus far, Puopolo, Cyril Rioli and Jared Roughhead have all booted single majors. The Bulldogs have just registered their first goal of the game through Luke Dalhouse with a major, and they now trail by 14 points, 3-4-22 the Hawks to the Dogs 1-8, and the GWS Giants host Essendon, and that match is to commence at Skoda Stadium in around 10 minutes' time. We'll head back to the team on EFL Gameday with a big Division 3 clash between Boronia and Doncaster live at Tormore Reserve right after these messages.
Desperately need budget-friendly windows? Visit T&B Discount Window Warehouse, who'll have the right solution for you. T&B has new and surplus windows to suit any budget needs, and you'll still have spare change to finish off your renovation. Visit T&B's new Superstore, Unit 4, 116 to 118 Canterbury Road in Kilsyth. T&B Discount Window Warehouse, part of the EAL and AW Window Transport Group, your number one in window transport.
Call 1300 075 038.
Program sponsor.
EFL TV is back and better than ever. Head to efl.org.au every Thursday morning to check out the new episode of EFL TV. EFL TV features weekly interviews with players and special guests, and the EFL Media Team always discuss all the big issues in the Eastern Football League. And you can get involved by voting for your favourite EFL Play of the Week. EFL TV, live and local for your footy every Thursday morning at efl.org.au.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tab. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week, and I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
On EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Good afternoon, Eastern Football League lovers, and welcome out to Tormore Reserve for EFL's match of the day. It's sure to be an absolute ripper too. It's Division 3 and it's top versus 4. Doncaster taking on Boronia away from home. It's going to be an absolute ripper. The rain's just settled a little bit, so the clouds have cleared up a touch, so we're hoping that we might see a little bit of dry weather football today, but we're certainly not holding our breath. But one thing is for sure, it's going to be an epic clash. Both these teams have had a ripper season so far in 2013. Announcing themselves, and today's a further announcement on where they might go later on in September. My name is Ben Warren Smith. Thank you very much to Ben Waterworth, doing a great job on the pre-match show with the boys. But let's introduce the team who'll be joining us in the caravan today in the best position on the ground at Tormore Reserve. And I must say, Bruce Press from the Loft Productions, he's not the biggest fan of coming out to Tormore Reserve because of the setup, but he has done a magnificent job out here today to make sure that we have got the best seat in the house. So I thank you very much, mate. Let's introduce the team. As I said, the big man who used to milk cows for a living, now he's just a frosty one on a very frosty day. Peter Baird, welcome back to the team, mate.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, BWS. Fantastic to be back out at the footy. Withdrawal symptoms. I haven't been out to an EFL game now for 2 weeks. Not being able to get out the last weeks and some other commitments, but can't wait for this one today. And it's going to be an absolute ripper between two teams, really making staking a claim for that Division 3 premiership.
And your wingman today doing his first gig on special comments, and we look forward to it as well. The excitable one, Billy Vickers. Good afternoon to you, mate.
Good afternoon, BWS, and what a day to be making my debut inside the caravan. It's very nice, I must say, to not be down on the boundary. Hello to Riley down there.
It's funny because last week I said to Riley, it's not the funnest job doing stats inside the caravan, and now we put him out on the boundary line, and he's got the rain.
No, looking very much excited for this game. As I said, 1 versus 4. The rain's not going to put a dampener on it, so can't wait to get underway here at Tormore Reserve.
They say you're the excited one, Billy, but I'm excited for some of these special comments you're going to bring this afternoon.
Well, let's introduce our stats man. He'll be riding the stats chair all day, thanks to Choose Tap, the number one stats man in the East Football League. Grant Campbell, good afternoon to you, Soupy.
Good afternoon, BWS. And I've seen 4 10-goal thrashings this season. I reckon this will be the closest because neither side will kick 10 goals. That's my prediction.
You don't think that'll happen, hey?
As Riley pointed out, they're the 2 best defences. Doncaster haven't conceded 100 points this year. Boronia only won. Boronia have won 5 out of 6 at home. Doncaster won 5 out of 6 away. Look out for Doncaster's fast starts. They've won 12 out of 13 opening quarters and 11 out of 13 second quarters.
It's going to be an early start out here in this match with the reserves finishing a little bit early. Brad Henderson, my wingman, joins us in the caravan, trying to just getting the Wayne Brasher fumbles up there and switching everything on and off. But good afternoon to you, Brad. This will be a cracker.
I think it will be very close today, BWS. I think it'll be low scoring. If we get sort of 6 goals to 5 at the end of the day, I think we'll have done pretty well. And I'm going to tip Boronia home ground advantage, but also more just the fact that I think a lot of those big bodies for Doncaster will be nullified, I guess, and negated by these conditions. Hopefully the real class players can still rise above the conditions and show what they're made of. Guys like Dean Grice, of course, for Boronia.
You all talk up the fact that this might be a really low-scoring contest. I'm not so sure. I reckon Boronia have got the league speed and a few subtleties they've introduced into their game since round 1. They might actually win quite comfortably.
The game's underway.
Well, Jarvis with the ruckman there for Doncaster, and he won the first tap of the game. Got it down to Lumachizi, but immediately the umpire races in and says he'll ball it up. Does so now. The tap this time won for Boronia. Quick kick, came out of the middle, went over the head of Gamwell. Booting it forward was Bazinskis. Grice slid over the ball. Decorato takes possession now. Got a little handball away and was he did cop one. And the ball's going to come back. In fact, it'll be a free kick to Boronia with Jason Heath, premiership player, of course, at Scoresby in the 2006 season. Still going around now for Boronia, of course. Came off hands, quick shot at the goal there by Van Dort, and he didn't miss by too much. But the first score on the board, on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, goes to the Hawks. They lead at 1 behind. Doncaster yet to score. Just gone about a minute in the first quarter here at Tormore Reserve.
We're certainly going to see a lot of that ball coming off hands today in the forward line. It's going to be about a real crummers game, I think. The Doncaster, they've got a lot of tall forwards out there, so it might suit Boronia a little bit in these really wet conditions.
Well, Shimmerbush brings the ball out. He kicked it every bit of 60 metres. Charging there through was Van Dort. He got wrapped up in a tackle and will have a bounce about 65 metres out from the Boronia goal line.
Just interesting having a chat to Mark Hardy before the game. He said these sort of conditions, great, really quality players, they come into their own. They don't rely on conditions. So that's going to be something he's really looking for and trying to utilise that really leads the Boronia side have around the ground to run Doncaster off their legs. They do have some of those bigger body midfielders and think perhaps they might be exploited in that area.
The umpire threw the ball up. Jarvis got a knockdown on it. Lumachisi came in, picked up was Grice. He got dispossessed of the football. Slippery ball inside the middle. Overrunning it there was Van Dort, I should say. McNamara comes in to lend some support. A handball over the top. Boronia might get out of this. Little shimmy handball finds a way of Van Dort now. He tried to break the tackle. He's got holding the ball. And the umpire might pay advantage paid here as Doncaster stream the ball up towards the half-forward line on the outer side here of Tormore Reserve. The first player we'll meet it was Mark Williams. Got a little handball back to Allison. His handball over the top. Only went into the arms of Maguire. He got a left foot kick up towards the half-forward line. Going after it again was Mark Williams. He'll paddle over the boundary line and we'll have a throw in about 55 metres out from the Doncaster goal. So we've gone about 2.5 minutes here in the first term. Boronia have got the first score on the board. That was one behind. The umpire throws it in now. It'll be Goldsmith going up against Jarvis. The kick by Anarchis goes inside forward 50. It's in the back pocket now. Boronia might be able to get the clearance here. The kick goes out towards the back pocket and a good mark has been taken. And a solid mark has been taken by the number 70. I'm not too sure who's wearing number 70. We'll have to cross down to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders to work that one out. I think it might be Lachlan McDonald. So the kick comes out towards the wing position now. On hands and knees, Mark Hardy goes in hard, as does Tom McAllister, and the umpire will come in and ball it up. Speaking of our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders,
he's paid a free kick BWS against Mark Hardy for dragging it back into the contest.
Well spotted, Frosty. So Chris Anarchis in the long sleeves drives the ball along to the top of the goal square. Boronia will have the numbers at the fall of the ball, and Jesse Bolton will be able to clear it away.
Does indeed, and gets it up towards Van Dort, who's been very busy early in this game, getting plenty of the ball. Van Dort, a left footer, swings it up towards the wing position. Watson was the target, who led the race to the ball against Sia Cavallis, but Sia Cavallis did really well, fed it out to Peduto. Peduto's kick is marked, a diving mark taken up forward there for Doncaster by Di Domenico, who goes very short, and he's found Galace on his own, who takes the mark and will go back. I think distance will test him from here, but he's not without a chance.
That was some pretty loose checking then from the Boronia defenders. Every Boronia player in the Doncaster's half of the ground here is a real trademark of the coaching of Mark Hardy, but still unable to pick up a man and congest that space up, and Doncaster are able to spot a man up 25, 30 metres out from goal.
So Adrian Galace fires at the goals, right to the line. They compete about half a metre out from goal, and the Boronia defence able to pick that one off, fist it through for a minor score, and scores a level on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Let's cross down boundary side for the first time this afternoon and introduce our boundary riders, Andy Paolacci and Riley Beveridge. G'day, Andy.
How you going there, Benny? I just found out that Lachlan McDonald is number 70, guys. Just to have a look today, I think both sides will be using the wings a lot just because the ball bounces more true and will be effectively be played like a dry weather match, although, again, conditions permitting.
Is there a wind out there, Andy?
There's a slight wind, but it won't favour any side of the ground. So look to see quite a even contest out there today.
Well, the ball's with Jarvis for Doncaster, the big, very experienced ruckman for the Sharks. Thumps it forward. Muller was the target, but it was fisted towards the boundary line.
You can just see from both teams, when they do maintain possession of the ball today, it will be really, really imperative to use it really well and think through the possession, because when the ball goes to the deck, it most likely you're going to get a 50-50 contest at a stoppage.
Well, there's a free kick, another whistle, which will go to the Hawks and Garrity. No, in fact, the free kick goes to Bazinskis. So, Matty Bazinskis, not really too worried about where his mark was meant to be. Neither was the umpire, just allowed that to go on. Up towards wing position. Ball on the deck, shoveled out then by Decorato, but it was intercepted by Van Dort. He gave it to Grice. Grice sit through some pretty heavy traffic. He's usually able to find a target no matter what the situation, Dean Grice. Didn't quite on that occasion, but Boronia still have the footy. Driving kick forward by Heath. Hunting it down is Gamwell. Gee, gathered that in beautifully in the conditions. Shares it with McGarnis. McGarnis back to McAllister.
Whoa.
Under a lot of pressure. Great tackle by Bazinskis. And they'll play the advantage. Bazinskis fires at the goals. And it bounces through for the first goal of the day. Matty Bazinskis, he is capable of something very special, very skillful player, and he's kicked the first for the Hawks. They're 1-1-7, Doncaster 1 behind, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Already there we can see that trademark style of play from Boronia, getting numbers back into defence, almost playing the fast break soccer style of counter-punching and that rebound football, moving the ball on really quickly at all costs. And Bazinskis then, as soon as he awarded the free kick, took his kick straight away and kicked into a vacant goal square. And it's probably smart play because the ball is going to skid on in these conditions as well. So if you can just boot it 30 metres forward, you might get an extra 10, 20 metres out of it on the bounce.
Umpire throws the ball back up in the middle. Tormore Reserve. Jarvis got the knockdown, came into the arms of Moore. Little handball out, didn't find the target. Comes up towards the Doncaster forward line now. But Boronia will be able to stream out of the back line here. The kick goes into the middle, looking for Goldsmith. Little shimmy of a kick. Grubbers up still inside that centre square area. Picking up the ball, there was that player in Ash Polak. He was dispossessed, and the umpire said it was a little bit crude, so he'll receive a free kick for Doncaster. Almost across the half back line as he goes back over the mark. Short options are on in the middle if he wants to use them. One-hander needed to be taken by Mark Peduto. He did so. So the short passes is probably nearly the way to go today. The long bombs is just going to create the contest and some lot of ground level football as the ball goes inside forward 50 more now for Boronia. Gets a kick out of that danger zone. Only too far though because Decorato attacked the football, got the handball away to Jarvis who just bangs the ball on his boot. Inside forward 50, bouncing footy. It needs to sit up nicely for Steve Muller. He paddled it towards the boundary line hoping it would pop up for him. It didn't, and we'll have a boundary throw in about 40 metres out from Doncaster's goals.
Yeah, good afternoon to Lucas Appleby. Still busy on the test. Loving some of the stretching work from the umpires pre-game. Said looked like they were going to come in and bowl half a dozen overs in the Ashes test and some of the stretching they did pre-game.
Peter Baird's back. It's Comedy Central here in the caravan as the umpire throws the ball up. Need to get out of danger here. Picked up there by Nathan Allen. Couldn't get a handball away. It might be a free kick to Boronia at the last line of defence. So now they've got options out in the back pocket, do the Hawks, and they might use the members' side for the first time this afternoon. The kick goes nowhere, though, because Christianakis has chopped it off. Squeezes the ball inside forward 50. The kick there was intended for Mackenzie. He couldn't quite take it, and he hits the deck as well with 3 Hawks, and we'll have a bounce about 30 metres out from Doncaster's goals. Gone 8.5 minutes here in this first term. It's a 1-goal ball game. It's Boronia leading it. They've kicked the only 1 goal for today. Great tackle there by Ryan Henderson, and we'll have another bounce.
And just look at the teams, especially Doncaster in their forward 50, pushing right up the ground in these conditions. They're going to try to lock the ball in here heavily and keep it down there. It's going to be hard to work it out.
Well, they're trying to squeeze away an avenue to goal there. Doncaster, the umpire said play on. Hardy's in there over it, and he'll eventually come in and bounce at the umpire.
I reckon it's the other way around, Billy. I reckon it's Boronia flooding numbers back into their defence and the Doncaster backman just actually going back with them.
Mackenzie, it was all too easy, got the knockdown. Van Dort, his kick was dispossessed, but they're going to be able to clear here, Boronia, from the last line of defence. Grant Campbell, some choose tap stats at the first 10 minutes of the first quarter.
Inside 50s, 8-2 in favour of Doncaster. Also the hit-outs, 8-2 in favour of Doncaster.
Josh Allison took the mark for Boronia and got the little handball away. That was good play. In comes McDonald. He ran and kicked it along the boundary line. He probably could have done a little bit better than that. He gained about 30 metres, but it went to absolutely no one. But it's across the half-forward line for Boronia. They lead at 1-1-7 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Doncaster are 1 behind.
It's almost like a rolling maul at the moment, rugby union style, the way Boronia are just congesting the play around the contest and not allowing the Doncaster players to run and spread from those contests.
So the ball comes back into play, and Heath there takes hold of the footy and he's all wrapped up there. Good strong tackle by Lumachisi, and I think it was Peduto there also forcing the big Jason Heath to ground there. Gets involved again. Lumachisi dives on the footy, drags it in. The umpire doesn't penalise him. I think they'll be pretty generous, you would think, today. I mean, it's tough conditions. It's going to be, I guess, a stoppage-based game to a large extent in any case, as Allison takes the mark. Luke Allison shares it with Williams. Driving kick by Williams to Allen. Good fist from behind by Polak. Little handball was shot out then from Josh Allison. There's a flying shot at the goal, and it's just off target. Attempted banana kick there from the pocket, and that wasn't probably the best option in the end. Minus score on the board for Boronia. They're 1-2, Doncaster 1 behind. As Maganis drives the ball back in, went pretty well straight down the middle. Quick kick came out of the pack from Fry. Di Domenico had it knocked away from him. This is Bolton. Showed good composure and poise then, Bolton, as he found Mitchell Wright. Wright short pass is on to Hardy. So Mark Hardy, probably too far out to score. Not really a long kick, Mark Hardy, generally speaking. Off hands to Van Dort, sharking the pack. And a good strong tackle applied on him. But I'll tell you what, Ben Van Dort, of anybody, I reckon him and Bazinskis are the two who have looked more dangerous in the first 10 minutes of this game than anybody else out there in these conditions. And they're both having a bit of a field day in the early stages. The little handball was shot out to Schimmelbusch through some pretty heavy traffic. His kick was chopped off by Bolton. High kick by Bolton. Schimmelbusch with the fist, and he just belts it towards the boundary line, right in front of the scoreboard here at Tormore Reserve, which reads that Boronia lead by 7 points. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So the umpire brings the ball back in now. The flyer at the back. Wooden mark not paid to see. Cavallis needed to try and break a tackle. Boronia might get another chance here. Snap around the body there by Hardy to the top of the goal square. Nobody's home though except for Schimmelbusch, and he'll try and clear it there for Doncaster. Neat little kick there. Finds Anarchis. Kick goes down towards the wing position, towards Mackenzie. Got it fisted away from him. Charging through there was Ryan Henderson, and over she goes for a boundary throw in right in front of that Boronia bench. 15 minutes gone here in the first term. It's a 7-point ball game on EFL's match of the day. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live on EFL.org.au. As Humphrey over the back, Jarvis got the knockdown. Grice quickly overran the football. There'll be a free kick to Boronia though. He'll go towards Lachlan McKernan. He'll drive the ball inside forward 50. Grice made good space at the back of the pack. There was Heath on hands and knees. Got the handball away. That was okay. McKernan came in to lend some support. Got a running handball out wide to Lachlan. Lachlan McDonald put that one through, but he doesn't. He puts through a behind over to the right-hand side. Probably had a little bit more time than what he thought there. Another minor score to Boronia. They're peppering the goals early at the 14-minute mark of the first term. 1-3-9, they lead it. Doncaster, one behind.
Just be interested to get a stat from Grant Campbell about Boronia's dominance around the clearances. They seem to be able to feed the ball out to a player on the defensive side of the stoppage and then boot the ball forward, really showing Doncaster up in that area.
Kick comes back in from McGarnis. Again, elects to go pretty well straight down the middle. And there's another whistle there for a tackle over the shoulder. Free kick will go to Boronia, and also a 25-metre penalty. And that's pretty costly. So the Hawks, good opportunity here. I think it's Watson with the not ball. No, in fact, I'm going to say it's Bainbridge.
It's Bainbridge.
Shannon Bainbridge, left footer, driving kick right to the line. Big fist. Shark in the pack nicely, was fed out then to McKernan, and McKernan's kick has tumbled out of bounds on the full, and a free kick will go to the Sharks in the back pocket there with Schimmelbusch.
Boundary.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Riley Beveridge.
Yeah, Frosty talked about the clearances before, and I think it's really important because whoever's getting the ball inside their 450 with the ball waterlogged, it's hard for him to get him out at the moment.
Came off hands then, little handball shot out to Watson. Here he is now. Little left foot kick, close to the boundary. Schimmelbusch crashes through and makes sure the umpire could see that he really was trying to make a determined effort to get rid of the footy, but he's still been penalised. Then he goes to Josh Allison, doesn't waste any time, and Allison fires at the goals and didn't give himself too much time to sum that one up. He just had a ping, he was off target. And Boronia a little bit wasteful in this first quarter. 1 goal for Doncaster, 1 behind. The Hawks have had their chances on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So Schimmelbusch, he'll bring it back in for Doncaster. They're using that outer side of the ground today. This kick goes towards the middle of the ground as well. Jarvis got a nice little fist on it, but they'll get out of this. Boronia. Allison got a handball over the top, just probably need to get boot to ball. Peduto came charging through. He copped one high, and he'll take the free kick, Mark Peduto. It's just inside the middle of the ground. The player streaming out wide. Matt Hodges was free. Elects to go a little bit shorter. Finds Anarchis. Takes the mark. Classy player even in wet conditions. Got Sia Cavallis across the far side of the ground if he wants to use him. Goes the opposite direction once again. Kicks it to his mate Galache on the second bite. That was a ripper mark in front of Shannon Bainbridge. So they're doing it with clean skills at the moment in this approach inside forward 50. Doncaster. Mackenzie got the handball away. Here's Anarchis. He's a clever footballer. Snap around the body. Can he squeeze this one through? No, he can't. The ball skidded and eventually hit the behind post. So over she goes for a boundary throwing. Doncaster would probably take that.
Oh, I think they would. they get an opportunity to reload and reset there. But we got a clearance count there for Choose Tap stats there, Grant Campbell.
I actually got it down to 7-6 in favour of Doncaster, so probably doesn't back up what you've said, unfortunately.
Umpire throws it up. Grice got tackled. He dropped the football. He probably should have been pinged there. The ball comes out to Anarchis again. His kick was smothered. Well done there by Matty Bazinskas, and we'll have a boundary throw in about 30 metres out now from the Doncaster goals. Grandstand side.
Yeah, probably more reflective is what you mean is the contested possessions, which is 32-20 in favour of Boronia.
Just waiting for the ball to come back into play. 17 minutes gone here in the first term. 9 points is the margin. I'm not quite sure what the hold-up is currently, but we're about to get underway now as the umpire throws the ball back in. Jarvis gets the front spot, got the little knockdown on hands and knees. Van Doherty tried to scoop the ball out. There's a lot of players around this football. Grice is in there, as is Richard McNamara, and we'll have a bounce about 30 metres out. They've squared things up a little bit here, Doncaster.
Almost all players inside the forward 50 arc for Doncaster and for Boronia, so it's clear tactic from Boronia. They're going to push players around the ball all day.
Well, Mackenzie's got it across centre half forward. He kicks it inside forward 50 for Doncaster. On the receiving handball was Sika Vallis, couldn't get boot to ball. Moore comes in to lend some support, as does Heath, but we'll have a free kick and it will go the way of the Doncaster Football Club across centre half forward. So Sika Vallis, Pye said he copped one in the back. That's why he couldn't get boot to ball. So James C. Cavallis kicks it to the top of the goal square. That's the way to go. Big fist over the back. Rice at the fall of the ball. He needs to pick it up. Handball over the top. That was okay. He had some support in there in Mark Williams. He'll get the clearing kick out there for Boronia. Who's going to be here? It's going to be Lachlan McDonald on hands and knees. Chasing right after him there was Pat Cornwell. Here comes Matty Bazinskas and he runs away with it.
He does indeed. He comes in board looking for a teammate, but it was chopped off by Sia Cavallis. High left foot kick and a bit of a floater, but it well marked then. And safely held by Richie McNamara, the former Boronia Hawk, who probably his first kick of the game, I'd suggest. Pretty quiet start for him. Peduto puts his body over the footy, and it will be a ball up. And McNamara, of course, would have played with alongside most of this Boronia team. And Doncaster chased him pretty hard for the last couple of off-seasons. Very keen to acquire his services. Goldsmith around the corner with the kick. Bounces it out towards the boundary line. Still in play. Fry shoveled it out. Conceded a little bit of ground. Gets it back now. Gave it to Schimmelbusch. Close to the boundary line. Strong breaking of the tackle then by McKernan. But he coughed it up in the end to Fry. Fry's kick comes inboard. Pushed over. That time was it was Carlson for Doncaster. Little handball was clever from Hodges to Carlson. Carlson's kick, and he's found Anarchis on that outer wing who will fire at the goals now. Chris Anarchis launches the kick right to the line. Can't quite do so. In the pocket. 3-on-1 for Boronia. And they've managed to dodge a bullet there. Gee, Chris Anarchis with the beard and the long sleeves in these conditions. Jimmy Bartell comes to mind. And just watch him when he's on that outer side. Tell me that there isn't a similarity.
In the blue and white hoops as well, Brad, probably helps.
Well, that's the main thing, of course. But certainly, Chris Anarchis, he'll be looking to play a Jimmy Bartell style game in the wet today.
It's interesting that Boronia haven't gone with a hard tag on Chris Anarchis yet either. No one actually picking up anybody from, particularly for the Doncaster side, but rather just congesting space rather than actually trying to shut down an individual players.
Well, it's 1-0-0 at this stage, Frosty, so it is shaping up as that low-scoring game that most of us were predicting, thus far at least. Grice, did well then, quickly got back to his feet, tumbled the kick forward, but it was nicely decepted by Maganis. So Ben Maganis for Doncaster. Drives it forward. Big fist out of the air. Well done by Williams. I think he was pretty keen to hunt after it then and try and claim the mark. Didn't quite get to it in time. And it will be another ball up as Mark Williams races all the way back to the goal square to defend. Doncaster with the footy now. High tackle perhaps there.
defence like that, as they're able to set up the loose man, they can't afford to turn the ball over with poor disposal, because Doncaster backmen are actually following their forwards straight down into there as well, and they're just going to have 3 men on the loose then if they do turn it over coming out of defence, Boronia.
23 minutes gone. Boronia will be probably spewing a little bit that they're not 2 or 3 goals up. They've done most of the scoring here in this first term. Mackenzie, somehow the big man, breaks through 2 tackles, kicks it inside forward 50. Anarchis was the target. Going after it was Shannon Bainbridge. He needs to get some support. Anarchis somehow fumbles it through his fingers. It's a slippery footy out there. It's 40 metres out from the Doncaster goals, and the umpire is going to restart the play. Doncaster desperate to get a goal and get on level pegging before quarter time. Their opportunity might come now as a kick scrambles towards the forward pocket. It was intended out there for Richie McNamara. He kept the ball alive on hands and knees. Anarchis, Mark Hardy's there to wrap him up in a tackle. He dropped the football. Anarchis probably should have been pinged there. The umpire didn't see it. Good tackle there by Luke Allison, and we'll have a bounce. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Inside 50s, 15-8 in favour of Doncaster. A lot of tackles, no surprises. 21-18 in favour of Boronia, but 6-3 forward 50 tackles in favour of Doncaster.
Well, the third man up, Henderson, got knocked it away. Hardy scrambled to kick out wide, but free kick will go to Doncaster. About 55 metres out from goal, Brad Henderson.
Yeah, probably going to test him, I think, from here. Not sure who it is, BWS, if that's what you're looking for.
Thanks a lot. You've got the binoculars as well as he kicks it to the top of the goal square and the fall. The ball. Jarvis snaps it around the body and might have the legs, and Doncaster have their first goal of the afternoon.
Lead here at Tormore Reserve by just 3 points. 1 goal, 4-10 the Hawks. Doncaster 1-1-7. Bazinskis kicking Boronia's only goal, and Greg Jarvis the only goal kicker so far for the Sharks.
It's a tough day for football, but when 2 great sides meet, it's going to go down to the wire and sure to be an epic. It's close out here at Tormore Reserve. We're enjoying the broadcast. I hope you are too. We're going to have our first break on EFL Game Day. It's quarter time out here. Plenty of great games as you go local for your football across divisions 4, 3, 2 and 1. Not too sure if too many of them will be at quarter time yet, but Ben Waterworth will be back after the break to go through all those important scores and more.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. We'll have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get a spray tan the Friday night before a game.
Oh, nice.
Wash all the jumpers. And of course, he is Glenn Archer, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
If it was up to Dino, he's winning the league B&F, our B&F.
How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1/4.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
Desperately need budget-friendly windows? Visit T&B Discount Window Warehouse, who'll have the right solution for you. T&B has new and surplus windows to suit any budget needs, and you'll still have spare change to finish off your renovation. Visit T&B's new Superstore, Unit 4, 116 to 118 Canterbury Road in Kilsyth. T&B Discount Window Warehouse, part of the EAL and AW Window Transport Group, your number one in window transport.
Call 1300 075 038.
Program sponsor.
You're listening to Davey Watson on Radio Eastern 98.1. Hope you're all rugged up on this Saturday afternoon. It's currently 8.3 degrees outside in the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. A couple of AFL matches transpiring this afternoon. The first of them is down in Tasmania, where I guess it's pretty cold as well as it is in Melbourne, and it's Hawthorn hosting the Western Bulldogs at Aurora Stadium in Launceston. Currently the Hawks have established a handy 21-point buffer 13 minutes into the second term. They lead the Bulldogs 5-8-38 to 2-5-17 after leading by 15 points at the first change. The only major goal scorer on the ground, Jared Roughhead for the Hawks with 2. Jordan Lewis and Paul Puopolo have each booted a major. Meanwhile, for the Bulldogs, their only goal scorers, Dylan Addison and Luke Dalhouse, with 1 goal each. And in the other game in the western suburbs of Sydney, we're currently 24 minutes into the first term, and it's GWS actually leading Essendon in a surprise result thus far by 3 points, only a slender margin, but the Giants certainly responding to the criticism. 4-3-27 to the Bombers, 4 straight 24 in the latter stages of the first term. The only major goal scorer on the ground, Jeremy Cameron for the Giants, their potent tall forward with 2 goals. Giles and Whitfield have each booted 1 major. Meanwhile, for the Bombers, Bell Chambers, Delolio and Comer have each booted a goal. So a very tight contest out there. Speaking of tight contests, we'll head back to the EFL Gameday team at Tormore Reserve for the big Division 3 clash between Boronia and Doncaster. It's the second term right after these messages.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tag. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week. And I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a race tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor. For the best EFL wrap on rail final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talked to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues.
Boundary.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
And it's quarter time here at Tormore Reserve. Boronia leading Doncaster just. But let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
I've got Andrew with me. Andrew, you locked the ball inside your forward 50 at half. That quarter, how happy with that?
Oh, look, the effort was fantastic from both sides, but no, look, we had a couple of opportunities we didn't convert, but it's just going to be one of them days that opportunities are going to be so rare, so let's hope we can jag a couple this quarter.
And now in these conditions, what's the plan for the rest of the game?
Look, it's real simple footy. It's just get the ball forward at every opportunity and then just create contest after contest and win more than them. Simple as that. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Riley Beveridge. Brad Henderson getting us underway in the second term.
Thank you, BWS, and it's Brian.
Scoreboard.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Andy Paolaci.
Very animated Mark Hardy at quarter time basically said the message is simple. When you get the ball, you go long, you go wide, and if you do turn it over, then at least it gives them a chance to reset. He just wanted them to be hard at the ball at all contests, and they're confident of winning this game.
Callanan drove the ball to the top of the goal square. Heath probably copped one in the back here. He dived on the football and coming over the top there, giving away a free kick with Schimmelbusch. So from about 20 metres out, it will be Jason Heath to put through probably what will be Boronia's second goal and the first of the second term.
Really following on from Mark Hardy's message there at quarter time, Jason Heath really applied himself at that contest. But the other early trend here I can see developing, I'll talk a little bit more about it after this kick.
Jason Heath comes in, he's sloppy in approach and he crosses the face. I can't believe that. He scraped that in for one behind in the end. You can definitely tell it's a soggy football out there today. Yeah. Second minute mark of the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard is Boronia leading 1-6-12, Doncaster 1-1-7.
It's funny you talk about that sloppy football. That's exactly what I was going to talk about there, Ben. Early in the quarters, I think Boronia are going to try and do most of their scoring early in the quarters while the ball's as dry as it can be. And then as the ball gets heavier and waterlogged, I think that's when Doncaster are going to come into their own with some of their bigger bodies around the play, with the ball more on the ground. So look for Boronia to try and run and break from the contest early in quarters and then hold on late in quarters, and Doncaster to try and do the opposite.
So Schimmelbusch kicks to himself and then kicks out towards the big ruckman McKenzie, who had his kick smothered. A lot of players over the footy. Grice went to ground, was pushed over. It was Henderson, in fact. Socket off the ground. This is Luke Allison. Seemed to be a throw then. Thrown out to Big, but got away with it, the Hawks. Henderson, little handball to Bainbridge. Bainbridge went to ground, but he's still got his handball away. Siaka Vallis, little handball over his head, was reasonably effective. Gets it now again, Siaka Vallis. He took the tackler on, and Mark Hardy there calls. He did a bit of his own umpiring then, called for holding the ball, received the free kick. Goes laterally now. This is looking promising for the Hawks. Fist then from McGarnis. Players dive in over the top.
Boundary.
And it will be a ball up. Go down to our Akira Urgent Care Boundary Riders.
Yeah, it's interesting to note the rain started to get a bit heavier down here, and there is a wind that's picking up going Boronia's end.
Well, the rain is, you can hear the rain in the effects mic as a matter of fact, so it clearly has gotten a little bit heavier. And this is Matty Bazinskis getting the free kick. He just dived near the footy, wants to play on, doesn't waste any time, and he's off target. But I tell you what, I know I've already said it once, I'll say it again because it's still the case. He's easily the most dangerous looking player today, Matty Bazinskis. He has been on fire in this first half, and gee, give him a sniff, give him an inch, he'll take a mile. He almost kicked the goal then. And they now move on, Boronia, to 1 goal, 7-13. Doncaster 1-1-7. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. If the Hawks could have kicked accurately, the Sharks would just about be out of this game.
So Schimmelbusch has done this a few times already this afternoon. 7 behinds for the Boronia Football Club. Kicks it now. Long searching kick towards the Jarvis direction. That's the right way to go to at the fall of ball. Lumachisi got the little handball away to Peduto. Needs to bang it on his boot. Does so now. Kicks it up towards the half forward line. In the front spot there was Williams. Then there too was Muller coming over the top there. Galache over the top of Shannon Bainbridge. He probably nearly copped one high. He was wrapped up in a tackle by that man, Adrian Galache. And we'll have a bounce. Centre half forward for the Doncaster Football Club. They moved it down relatively quickly. Lumachisi went up against Goldsmith. Hardy came in for the Hawks. Got a little scrambly kick out wide, looking for more. Coming through Bazinskis on the left boot. Drives the ball along the wing position, looking for his teammate out there in Josh Allison. It was knocked away from him by Ash Polak, and will have a boundary throw in. About 75 metres out from the Boronia goals now. Well, probably a little bit further than that. Probably just in their favour. It's the umpire to bring it back in. Mackenzie will go up in the ruck. It was a short throw in, so at the fall of the ball, Doncaster might have the numbers here. Coming over the top, there was Wright trying to lend some support, wrapped up in a tackle, and we'll have another bounce far side of the ground out here at Tormore Reserve. We've gone 6 minutes in the second term. It's 1 goal the difference. Boronia have had all the scoring though. 1-1-7 plays 1-7-13. Would you believe it? And we've got another stoppage. Speaking of stoppages and stats, let's go to Graham Campbell thanks to Choose Tap.
Inside 50s this quarter, 4-0 in favour of Boronia, so we're all one-way traffic.
The umpire brings the ball back in now. Goldsmith will go up against Mackenzie. Mackenzie from the back position got a good fist on it too. Doncaster looked like they had the numbers there, but Wright was the first one to meet it for Boronia. He was wrapped up in a tackle and will have a bounce. Still a decent crowd out here today, as you would expect. One playing 4. 2 really big potential finals, big players. Wright got a little handball out. It's still very close to that boundary line out there. It'll eventually trickle over. So no one really winning clear position or possession in this second term. Umpire throws it in now. Henderson over the top. Came down to right. He's getting a bit of the ball. McGarnis got the handball out to Galache. Kicked a scrambly one in towards the middle of the ground. Picking it up now there for Doncaster. Lumachisi snaps it up towards the centre half forward position. They might have players in the right position there. They do. Marcus Fry. He's usually a beautiful kick of the football, and the wet weather won't let him down here. The driving kick goes inside forward 50. Jarvis was the target. It was scooped upon there by Richie McNamara. Brings it around the body. It might have enough legs. Marked on the last line of defence for Boronia. That's where you've got to be. You need the numbers back there in a waterlogged football, and they drive the ball out. Goldsmith has got it. Now he had the handball in more if he wanted to use it. Instead he went up towards centre half forward, but Schimmelbusch attacked the football, got gang tackled by one player. Pry came in, got the handball away. Doncaster might get out of trouble, but Goldsmith stands in position A, takes the mark. He's got players screaming for it across centre half forward if he wants to use them. Mark Hardy wanted the handball received from behind. The Lex to kick it up towards the centre half forward position. Magana stands strong, got spoiled by his own player. Needed to paddle out towards the Bedudo direction. In there on hands and knees is Heath. He was wrapped up in a tackle and will have a bounce. Half forward line for the Boronia Football Club. Tempo still really good in this match. Gone 8.5 minutes here in this second turn. The umpire will start it now. Moore goes up against Jarvis, got it down. Anaka's little grubber kick, couldn't quite find the teammate. Lumachisi is in there on hands and knees. Nathan Allen comes in to lend some support, and we'll have a bounce almost on a centre wing.
Yep, still just 6 points the margin. as McKernan takes possession close to the boundary line, bounces the kick forward. Van Dort dives in over the footing, will get a free kick. Really sacrificed his own body then and was rewarded. Shares it with Heath, who's a thumping kick. Bit of a floater this time though. And the mark well taken defensively there by Schimmelbusch. And Matt Schimmelbusch, such a general for Doncaster for such a long time. Premiership player a couple of years ago, of course, in 2011. That kick was intended there for Mackenzie, the big ruckman, and was fisted away from him.
Boronia's endeavour and intensity has been really good around stoppages, but their disposal's just letting them down, and probably their decision-making as well. They just haven't been able to locate a target as they move forward, and they keep turning the ball over, and you can't afford to do that with a side like Doncaster.
Anarchis' kick up towards the wing. Galache, little handball, knocked on by Williams for Boronia. It was clever. Got it on then to Callanan. Callanan kicked it forward. Came out off the pack there to McKernan. Stood tall, fires at the goals. And Lachlan McKernan, he made that look easy in the end. Puts Boronia's second goal on the board. It is McKernan's first of the day. And the Hawks just build a handy little buffer in these conditions of 12 points. Boronia 2-7-19. Doncaster 1-1-7. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
What a fantastic finish from the Boronia forward. He actually broke that tackle there, wheeled around, not much space at all, and in the conditions summed it up, put it on the boot and went straight through the middle. Fantastic work for Boronia. A bit of a reward for effort to start the second quarter.
Quarter time scores in Division 1 as you go local for your football. Balwyn lead Blackburn by 15 points and Vermont lead Lilydale by 27. In Division 2, Bayswater over North Ringwood by 19. Murrelbark lead Doncaster East by 21. Montrose by 17 over Upper Ferntree Gully and Mulgrave by 8 over the Waverley Blues. As we restart this match, Jarvis got a good knockdown. Lumachese on hands and knees. Grice came in for Boronia. Snap around the body. That was okay. There was players running out wide. The ball just needs to sit up there, charging through and doing really well there and running away with it. It was Begg. He got tackled brilliantly. The chase was fantastic there by Richie McNamara, who was also at the fall of the ball, and he receives a free kick. He's got players running along the wing position if he wants to use them. He had C. Cavallis there. Elects to go for the longer option towards the Jarvis area over the back. Galache, he got a knock on it. Who's going to be able to pick this one up? Coming through there was Allison. He was tackled and will have a bounce about 50 metres out across the half-forward line for Doncaster. They'll be looking for the answer. They currently trail it by 2 goals. Umpire starts the ball now. Hits the deck quite quickly. Little kick out there by Boronia will bounce favourably. Good handball there by Watson. Got it away to a teammate who kicked it up towards the wing position. At the fall of the ball, they might have the numbers here. Heath, the big man, has to go after it again. He was wrapped up beautifully in a tackle by Mackenzie and will have a bounce right in front of the members' wing. In fact, I think a free kick's been paid for holding the ball. He was told that he sat on it like an egg and not enough effort made to clear it out. So it'll be Mackenzie for Doncaster to clear this ball. Has it now. Shocker of a kick, but it was straight enough to find the arms of Anarchis, who really wanted to go on with it, but he was nicely held up there by Ben Van Dort. So Chris Anarchis has Galache short if he wants to use him. He's got other teammates short as well in Dipper Domenko. So Dipper, been in this side for a long time as well. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. It wasn't too crash hot, the kick. At the fall of the ball, that was okay there by Allen. Squeezed to kick out wide, but here comes Galache. Bangs it on his boot to the top of the goal square. He just didn't have enough purchase on it. Luke Allison is back there for Boronia, and he will clear for Boronia.
Does indeed, and it's a pretty good kick as well. Mark probably should have been held there by Callanan, but he had the presence of mind and the speed to get away, although he's coughed up the footy now. Little handball came from Maganis. Quick kick, belted forward by Peduto. But it's marked defensively there by Bolton, the ultra consistent and ever reliable Jess Bolton. Kick up towards half-back now.
Yeah, Garrity.
And close to the boundary line.
Despite that poor effort, the game just seems to have opened up a little bit in the last 2 minutes. Maybe the first signs of tiredness around the stoppage, and that's when we'll see the game start to open up. When you get an errant kick out of the stoppage, there's going to be a hell of a lot of space around the ground.
Close to the boundary line, and Polak there got involved. Quick kick forward. This is promising. Bazinska shared it with Mitchell Wright. to Grice now. Dean Grice has time to steady, kicks to the top of the square, but it's punched through there by Schimmelbusch. And I wasn't sparing Pat Garrity then. BWS actually lost the footy during that play, but I heard you lamenting an effort. I assume it was that one.
Oh, it was an absolute shocker, wasn't it? 20 plays 7, Boronia leader. Doncaster really got this ball moving quickly out here. They're moving the ball up towards the wing position now. The kick goes towards the Galache direction. He had 2 to beat at the fall. The ball, Bolton might be the first one to pick it up for Boronia, but he's got Dipper right on his hammer. He probably nearly copped one high. The umpire was in the centre square and didn't see it. He'll come over and bounce. No, the non-officiating umpire has paid it from across the half-forward line, so working in tandem very nicely there, and Dippy Domenico, he'll get the receive the free kick that he deserved. So they need a goal, Doncaster. They've had 2 scoring shots to 10. Effectively, this game could really be blown wide open. The kick goes up towards the direction of Carlson. Banged it on his boot. It doesn't look like anybody's home. Jarvis comes in. Lumachisi from the side. That was okay. Hot footy across the 25-metre mark for Doncaster. Garrity goes down to ground level. He was wrapped up in a tackle by Lumachisi. The umpire said it was all fair and will start this ball up once again from about 25 metres out from goal. Henderson will go up and fly high for Boronia. He got the knockdown. There's about 12 players around this football. It ain't going nowhere, and we'll have a bounce. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Riley Beveridge.
Yeah, James Yakovalis from Doncaster's has come off nursing a bit of a cork tip. He's very ginger on that. We'll keep you guys up to date. How's it going?
Well, Mark Williams got the clearing kick out for Boronia, but it's been a free kick paid to Doncaster. Did you see what that one was for, Frosty Baird?
No, I couldn't really tell out there. It's pretty congested. A lot of players around the ball. So really tough to pick out what this free kick's been awarded for.
So Doncaster, they'll have a shot by Ash Polak, who's about 40 metres out, right underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, slams it straight into the man of the mark. He'll be really disappointed with that one. The ball still sits there. They might get a clearing kick here, Boronia. Scrambling, bouncing football, and might go out. No, eventually it stays in. Handball over the top. In there is Gornwell. Went back for the 1-2 with Coman. There were dispossessed, and Bainbridge comes in to lend a hand and force it over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
Boronia certainly playing the conditions better, I think, in the duration of this second quarter. Their numbers around the football, Boronia are trying to link it through the zone, whereas Doncaster seem to be going for a more short passing game, which just doesn't suit the conditions.
So the ball's been thrown back in and we'll have a bounce. I thought you were going to go with that one there, Brad Henderson. But let's have a look at the Division 3 scores at quarter time. Ringwood lead Churnside Park by 16. Wanturna South by 20 over Mitcham. Templestowe lead Heathmont by 9. The Basin by 38 over Warrandyte. And Glen Waverley over Whitehorse in a close one by 6 points. In Division 4, Park Orchards lead Perntree Gully by 6 points. Surrey Park lead Coldstream by 24. And the Eastern Lions by 6 over Kilside.
Well, this is Anarchis who got boot to ball, and there is a free kick. It will go to the Hawks with Dean Grice.
Boundary.
3-time Edie medalist for being the league best and fairest in 3rd Division. There's a little bit of a scuffle going on just off the ball. The ball's going to go to Doncaster with Lumachisi.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care quickly to Riley.
Yes, Yakovalis has actually left the field. He's gone to the change room, so he might be done for the day.
Anarchis's kick right to the line, and good defensive play then from the Hawks. They fist it through for a minor score. And Boronia at 2 goals, 8-20. Doncaster 1-2-8 as the Hawks bring the ball back in. Close to the boundary line.
Van Dork got the handball away, and now Boronia kick it up towards the wing position. Nicely fisted away there by Lachlan Watson, and we'll have a boundary throw-in right in front of us here in the Caravan on EFL Gameday. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live on efl.org.au. The umpire brings the ball back in now. Mackenzie goes up, went straight through the arms there of Allen. He couldn't quite trap it, got a little handball out wide. That was okay. Williams came in, picked up there by McNamara. Handball over the top, got the 1-2. Inside forward 50. Now the high kick will go towards the Jarvis direction. If he can pull it in on the third bite, the big man. And he might just get 25 metres here too for copping a little bit extra, but he was juggling it, so I can't see the umpire probably paying that. Although Jarv seems to be pretty hell-bent on that he deserved that 25-metre penalty. But he'll have a shot for Doncaster's second goal.
What a mark from Jarvis. The ball is like a block of soap today in the shower, so he's done very, very well to hold that one in on the third attempt.
Well, he certainly didn't drop it, did he, as Jarvis comes in now. 25 metres out, he'll kick it across the face of goal. And nobody was home out of bounds on the full. So let off there for Boronia. Tough conditions to kick goals today, but you would have thought Big Jarve would have scored that one. He's having a rest down in the forward line, so needs to be damaging when he's there. The kick out wide by Boronia. Clears every bit of 60 metres, went through the legs of Dipier Domenico right, got a little handball backwards to go forwards. The kick goes up to the wing position, getting down on hands and knees was Tom McAllister. He takes the mark, kicks it into the middle of the ground there to the caveman Ben McGarnas. Had a ripper season so far. He wastes no time, gets it on the boot, switches play, and now the ball's in the arms of Richard McNamara. Squeezes the ball up towards centre half forward. It's a beautiful kick. Oh, Jarvis spilled his own player. Anarchis off the ground, but put it through. That's an absolute ripper. Soccer skills are plenty. Chris Anarchis, we know he's a clever player, and maybe Peter Baird, that was just the spark that the Doncaster Football Club were after. He kicks his first. Doncaster have their second, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross time on in the second term, it's a 1-goal ball game. Boronia 2-8-20, Doncaster 2-2-14.
Yeah, smart play then by Anarchis. He just shows that those football smarts, being able to get the ball onto the boot in the wet conditions as well. Realise that if he tried to bend the ball down and pick the ball up off ground level, probably would have been crunching the tackle. But just the soccer skills being employed there to great effect. And it's probably something I was thinking just a couple of minutes earlier, that in these conditions the soccer skills really need to be employed and just move the ball forward at all costs.
Well, it was Lumachisi trying to force the ball forward, and he did that pretty well to Anarchis, who's held for a long time there by Allison. No free kick paid. Anarchis looking at the umpire in bewilderment, and a boundary throw in broadcast side right in front of our caravan. Soupy Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Boronia were leading the inside 50 count 4-0, but Doncaster have swung it round and lead that 10-7 now.
So back into play, 6-point lead still for Boronia. And massive pack of players surrounding the footy. McNamara
He's been
takes
great.
possession. He's had a huge second quarter. Shoveled it out then to Peduto. Puds' kick to the top, or probably about 30 metres out from goal in the end. Gee, desperation shown defensively then by the Hawks. They did it pretty well. Rutherford throws it on the boot, bounces it up towards centre half back. Moore lost a handle on it. Dipier Domenico's kick. It was really a kick in hope, but it was very effective, and it's landed in the arms there of Maguire for Doncaster. So Doncaster trailing by 6 points. Important kick, this one. So Luke Maguire loads up, gives it all he's got. It's going to fall short. See, there's a lot more Hawks down there than there was Sharks. Ball on the deck. A little handball was shovelled out as well then by Hardy, getting involved, the veteran. Close to the boundary line. Hardy again takes possession now. Just backpedals a little. That was a good play by the Hawks. Gee, Mark Hardy always keeps a cool head no matter what the situation. Summed that up perfectly. At half back now. A lot of players around the footy again. The Hawks seem to be getting the numbers to the contest, and it was a good strong tackle, but it's not going to be rewarded. It will be a ball up.
Once again, Doncaster working their way into the game as the ball starts to get heavier and spends more time on the deck, whereas Boronia's leg speed, and when the ball's dry, early parts of the quarter, they look at their best.
Lumachisi there gave the don't argue to Goldsmith. Bolton did really well. Great pick up, and then the spin out of the tackle. That was nicely done by Jess Bolden. Boots it forward. Socket hacked out or off the ground then for the Sharks, trying to clear the area. This is promising now for McNamara. Thumps it forward. 2-on-1 contest favours the Sharks. Maguire takes the mark. Plays on, kicks to the pocket. Anarchis the target. What can Chris Anarchis do? Gathers it in now. There's a whistle. And there's a free kick for some holding on. And it is going the way of the Hawks. Boronia dodging a bullet then. Chris Anarchis was ready to kick his second goal of the game.
So Bainbridge is the recipient. He goes short, finds his coach in Mark Hardy, who bangs it on his boot up towards the Carlson direction for Doncaster. Couldn't quite hold the mark, tried to paddle it to his teammates' advantage right in the middle of Tormore Reserve as the umpire comes in and crosses himself. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Yeah, contested possession's always going to be big on a day like this, and it's Boronia leading the way 40-32.
So 1 goal is the margin, 23.5 minutes gone, second term on EFL Gameday. Henderson completely missed it. The umpire will come in and throw it up again as Dean Grice picks himself up off the deck. So underway now. Doncaster, they got the knockout that time. Carlson was in there, couldn't quite get the ball. Allison as well there for Boronia as they got the ball out towards the wing position. A foot race is created. Over she goes for a boundary throw-in right in front of our Akira Urgent Care. Boundary riders noticed nobody there wanted the football or tried to give it back to the umpire as the umpire eventually brings it back in now. It was a slow ball in. Plenty of plays form around this ball. McNamara's in there, so too is Peduto. He tried to break a tackle, but Van Dort had him nicely wrapped up. So 5 stoppages in the last 5 sets of play. The umpire starts it again. Henderson goes up from the back, probably will pay that one to him, Soupy. Umpire will come in now as Jess Moore tried to break a tackle, and another ball up. Wouldn't expect it to be a long quarter out here today. Second term, the first term only went for 23 odd minutes. We're almost at the 25-minute mark of this second term. Went straight into the arms of Campbell. He got handballed it on to Peduto, but once again, Moore and friends in Lachlan McKernan wasn't letting him go anywhere. So still on the members' side of Tormore Reserve. No clear advantage to either side here position-wise. Fry got the receive from McKenzie, got picked up in a tackle, nearly copped one in the back, but once again the umpire crosses himself and we will have another bounce. About 20 players at all times following the football today. Old school football at its best. Plenty of time to get down here and plenty of space to watch the footy in the cars at a great ground as well. So, wouldn't you know it, the umpire will come in and bounce it for probably the 7th time in only about a minute and a half. Throws it up again. Over the football there is Nathan Allen. He's been wrapped up in a tackle. And Grant Campbell, another stoppage. It's amazing, isn't it? But it's half-time out here at Tormore Reserve and probably a few fans are breathing a bit of a sigh of relief as there's a bit of a scuffle here, but it'll get quickly separated by the umpires who have done a great job so far in this first half. And it's been a great game. It's low scoring, but it's very tough football. Division 3 at its best. It's Boronia, the home side, leading it at half-time at 2-8-20. Doncaster are 2 goals, 2-14, but there's plenty of other great games. 17, in fact, as you go local for your football across the league today, and Ben Waterworth will be bringing us up to date with all those around the ground scores and much more right after this.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tax. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week, and I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
Own a smartphone and love the Eastern Football League? Then the EFL mobile web app is a must for you. Go to m.efl.org.
Whose big idea was to make
access
me boundary rider just before we got
and
here?
for all EFL grades. You can also receive live around-the-ground scores every Saturday afternoon right from the palm of your hand. And contribute to the mighty EFL forum while you're online. Download the EFL mobile web app to go live and local for your footy this season right from the palm of your hand.
Damien Watson with you on Radio Eastern 98.1.
Two behind
It's currently a very chilly 8.3 degrees outside on your Saturday afternoon in the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Hope you're all rugged up wherever rather you may be listening. I've got a couple of Progress AFL scores to bring to you, and the first of them comes from Tasmania, and Hawthorn are hosting the Western Bulldogs down at Launceston at Aurora Stadium, and they hold a comfortable 20-point lead at the major break half-time. 6-9-45 are the Hawks to the Bulldogs, 3-7-25, so an inaccurate total there. Jared Ruffhead's the only major goal scorer on the ground with 2. Hodge and Lewis also have single majors for the Hawks. Meanwhile, for the Bulldogs, Addison, Dalhouse and Dixon are amongst the goal kickers. And in the other clash between GWS and Essendon in the western suburbs of Sydney, out at
Dino, he's winning the league DNF, our DNF.
How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1 quarter.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care. We'll have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
The EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
And we're live and local out here at Tormore Reserve, and I can't feel my limbs for all those playing at home, and I'm sure plenty of players from both Boronia and Doncaster can't as well, I should say. Boronia 2-8-20, leading Doncaster 2-14. We're seeing a pretty competitive game, obviously low scoring here at Tormore Reserve, and there's plenty of other games that are low scoring and competitive around EFL venues at the moment. But as we do each week, it's time to cross to 9 News Studios to find out what's making news around the world. And joining us as he always does on the Pie Shed halftime show, all thanks to the Pie Shed. And I could go a warm pie right now, and I'm sure Clint Stanaway could as well. Good afternoon to you, Clint.
Hello, Ben. I must say it's a nice and warm Dockland Studios here. How are you boys travelling out there at Boronia?
Can barely feel the limbs, to be honest with you, but we'll push through and keep on going because it's time to find out what's making news around the world and what's making news around the footy ovals, or the AFL venues around Australia at the moment.
Well, down in Tassie, of course, nobody again, but Hawthorn 20 points up against the Bulldogs in Lonnie. Interesting incident with Cyril Rioli. Some have described it as a Chris Judd chicken wing.
Oh.
And when I say some, I refer to our match review panel expert, Corey Norris, who's made that little decision there. In the other match this afternoon, GWS putting up a big fight against Essendon. The Bombers, pretty lacklustre, I must say, leading by just the one goal. So plenty of talking points there. They looked like a few dull matches, but certainly producing a few talking points heading into the second half. Now, as I mentioned, the weather, it's a chilly 8 degrees in Melbourne right now, probably a bit colder where you are, but there's been plenty of snow falling around the state, including big dumpings in Ballarat and Daylesford. We're also out at Flemington, where there's been plenty of drama. A startled horse actually crashed through 3 fences before galloping into the members' lawn. So we'll have the latest on that at 6. Also, anger over Kevin Rudd's asylum seeker planner's rights break out on Nauru. Good Samaritans save an elderly driver from the path of a Frankston train. That is an incredible story. There's been a police bust at an illegal casino in Abbotsford. In sport, how about this? Another batting collapse has the Aussies' Ashes hopes on the edge. We all, sleepless nights for all of us, but it's just producing plenty of disappointment there. We'll have the wash-up from Carlton's win over North. We speak to Eddie Betts. And the latest from the British Open, Adam Scott and Jason Day, the best of the Aussies. Fingers crossed for those boys.
Now, Clint, I don't know if Alicia Loxey's nearby, and she did a magnificent job at the Weffel function that we had on Wednesday night from all reports. Does she have any thoughts on the Australian batting team's collapse recently? I know she's been tweeting feverishly about the cricket of recent days.
I hope she was grilled on that issue at that function, was she?
No, she wasn't at that function. I was just understand she did a magnificent job, but I know that
she always does a fantastic job, our Alicia Loxley. In a word, Alicia? Dismal. She says dismal.
Dismal. Excellent. Good to hear. Great work from you, Clint Stanaway.
You know what? Get rid of Boof, get rid of Darren Lehman, and put Alicia Loxley in there.
Oh, we'll see. As the coach, very interesting. I was thinking as skipper, get rid of Michael Clark's probably our best player at the moment, but vice skipper at least. But we'll get her in there as coach. We'll work on it. I'll make sure I have a chat with all the powers that be at Channel 9.
Bouncer. Don't you worry about that.
Great stuff from you, Clint Stanaway. Look forward to chatting next week.
Thanks, Ben.
Clint Stanaway joining us from 9 News, as he always does. Make sure you tune in to 9 News tonight at 6 p.m. for the best team in town, bringing you all the latest news and opinions from the 9 News team. Now let's have a look at all the other games around the Eastern Football League. Let's start in Division 4. An interesting score. Canterbury at the moment leading Nunawading. Canterbury 5-3-33, leading, just trailing Nunawading, I should say, 5-4-34. So the Cobras up by 1 point there. Coldstream 7-4-46, trailing Surrey Park 9-5-59. So a good start there for Surrey Park in that game. In Division 3, maybe a bit of a mini upset brewing here. Templestowe 3-8-24, leading Heathmont 1-4-10. Wantirna South 10-8-68. Lead Mitcham, they're thumping Mitcham, unbelievably, 3-3-21. We're about to cross out to Braden Ingram to hear all about that game between Wantirna South and Mitcham. Ringwood 5-8-38, thumping Chirnside Park, 2 behinds. Chirnside Park scoreless in that second term. And here at the radio game, Boronia 2-8-20, leading Doncaster 2-2-14.
14. In Division 2, Upper Ferntree Gully putting up a fight against Montrose. Upper Gully 1-4-10, trailing Montrose 4-2-26. The Waverley Blues 1-6-12, trailing Mulgrave 1-7-13. Ripping game, that sounds like that one. And also in Division 2, now here's an upset that's really brewing. That might have a bit of an influence a little bit later on down the track in the finals. This, at the moment, Bayswater 8-5-53 are leading North Ringwood 5-1-31. So that's an interesting scoreline that's brewing out there at Bayswater Oval. And a score between Knox and Norwood just come through. Knox putting up a fight against Norwood today. Knox 4-3-27. Leading Norwood 5-3-33. So a 6-point lead there to Norwood. We'll watch that space with plenty of interest. Plenty of games coming through at the moment. But what we might do now is we'll go through some other scores as we try and get Braden Ingram on the line. Just repeating, in Division 4, Coldstream 7-4-46 to Surrey Park 9-5-59. Nunawading 5-4-34, leading Canterbury 5-3-33. Heathmont 1-4-10 in Division 3, trailing Templestowe 3-8-24. Wantirna South 10-8-68, leading Mitcham 3-3-21. About to chat to Braden about that game now. Ringwood 5-8-38, leading Churnside Park 2 behinds. Boronia 2-8-20, leading Doncaster 2-2-14. Waverley Blues 1-6-12, just trailing Mulgrave 1-7-13. Montrose by 16 points over Upper Gully. Bayswater by 22 over North Ringwood, and North Ringwood by 6 over Knox. But let's cross out to Wantirna South and Mitcham now, because a big result is brewing here. We expected it to be a close game, but what is going on out at Wantirna South, and the man who's got all the answers is Braden Ingram. He's out watching the game between Wanty South and Mitcham. Braden, Wanty South leading by 47 points at half-time.
Yeah, that's right, Ben. They are very dominant. They've played a sensational half of footy, had plenty of it, and I think for me the two things that have stood out, they've probably they've been first to the ball. That's really, they've had their head over and they've had their first to it, and they've just led their man to the ball and made it very difficult for Wantirna for Mitcham to be able to do anything.
Now, Braden, tell us about some of the dominant players that have really probably thrived in the wet and have been doing a good job, particularly for the Wantirna South Devils in the opening half.
Well, the two men for me, you wouldn't usually think of, but Daniel Badome, he's been really strong up forward. Probably not a day you'd think would suit him, but despite the wet, they've been very strong. Wantirna South kicked 5 goals in the first quarter, and Badome's been really strong up for them, not only marking and kicking goals, but also just getting the ball to ground for some crumbling forwards. But also, Andrew has a party. We know he's had his first game today. He played in the reserves last week, and he's already kicked 3 today, and 2 in the second quarter, so he's up and about. And I tell you what, wouldn't you like this? Wouldn't I think every other team in the EFL would like to add a player like him mid-season? He's been very nice early on.
Very, very handy pick-up for the Devils, no doubt about that one. Let's quickly have a chat though about Mitcham. Is it? It's surely not panics. Well, it'd be definitely panic stations now. Only been able to kick 3 goals, and they've been one of the best offensive teams in the competition. What's going wrong for the Tigers? And they obviously need to lift. Where's it got to come from?
Well, put it simply, they're just not playing well the footy, Ben. They're trying to kick the ball short and not really thinking they need to be going long down the line, and probably been pretty undisciplined as well. Already had a yellow card in that second quarter. Aaron Miller gave away a free kick which turned the ball over in the goal square, and Andrew Azzopardi kicked his third. So really they've just got to start going long and down the line. It's something that really hasn't worked for them. They just put it on the boot because they've been over handballing as well. It just seems that where the footy doesn't seem to be suiting them this afternoon.
Well, great stuff from you, Braden. Great report. Looking forward to hearing your full-time report, and hopefully you can cheer the Mitcham Footy Club over the line for the supporters' sake. But thanks for your time. Look forward to hearing from you later.
Sounds good, Ben. Thank you.
Good on you, Braden. Braden Ingram out there for Wantirna South and Mitcham. Let's take our final break here from the Pie Shed halftime show. All thanks to Mark Phelan and the team out there at 295 Bayswater Road, 295 Canterbury Road, I should say, in Bayswater. Let's cross back to the studio. We'll clear some advertising commitments, and we'll come back with the big second half call from Boronia and Doncaster, with the Hawks leading by 8 points right here on EFL Game Day. Before we'll cross back to the studio very shortly, but 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. We'll have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
Damien Watson with you on Radio Eastern 98.1. It's still a very, very cold 8.3 degrees outside in Melbourne's outer eastern suburbs. A couple of progress scores still transpiring in the AFL at the moment. And it's still a tight game at Skoda Stadium as we approach half-time. The Bombers lead GWS by just a slender 2-goal margin. It's Essendon 8-3-51 leading the Giants 6-3-39 after GWS led quarter time. The only major goal scorer on the ground is Jeremy Cameron, who has booted 3 majors for the Giants. Meanwhile, in the other clash out at Aurora Stadium down in Tasmania, Hawthorn comfortably lead the Western Bulldogs by 22 points, and we're approaching the 10-minute mark of the third term. It's Hawthorn 6-11-47 leading the Bulldogs 3-7-25, and the only major goal scorer on the ground is the Hawks' key forward Jared Roughhead with 2 goals. We'll head back to the team on EFL Gameday live from Tormore Reserve with the second half of the big Division 3 clash between Boronia and Doncaster right after this.
Desperately need budget-friendly windows? Visit T&B Discount Window Warehouse, who'll have the right solution for you. T&B has new and surplus windows to suit any budget needs, and you'll still have spare change to finish off your renovation. Visit T&B's new Superstore, Unit 4, 116 to 118 Canterbury Road in Hillside. T&B Discount Window Warehouse. Part of the EAL and AW Window Transport Group, your number one in window transport.
Call 1300 075 038.
Program sponsor.
EFL TV is back and better than ever. Head to efl.org.au every Thursday morning to check out the new episode of EFL TV. EFL TV features weekly interviews with players and special guests. And the EFL Media Team always discuss all the big issues.
About to start, Damo.
And you can get involved by voting for your favourite EFL Play of the Week. EFL TV, live and local for your footy every Thursday morning at efl.org.au.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tax. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week, and I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
He can't hear you.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues.
Start her up.
Well, the third term is underway here. We've gone 22 seconds and the ball is in the Doncaster forward line. If they can somehow scramble a kick, it was kicked up by Maguire to the top of the goal square. Galache over the back, got a fist on it. More at the top of the goal square for Boronia, tries to get a clearing kick. He receives a handball now. More, he arches it back. He intended his handball to go to Mark Hardy, who just let the ball go over the boundary line and out of bounds. It's a 6-point ball game out here at Tormore Reserve. EFL's match of the day. It is the home side leading at 2-8 to 2-2. It could very well be level scores very quickly if Doncaster can get the ball outside that, inside that offensive 50. Sounds like we're calling in a tunnel here at the moment, but the ball's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds. A little bit off-putting as the ball is about 55 metres out from goal. So the umpire to bring the ball back in now. Jarvis, he got the knockdown. Good fist on it too. Comes out towards the area of McNamara. Keeps the ball alive. Galache, Bazinskis on ground level and will have a boundary throw in about 40 metres out from goal. So 1.5 minutes gone.
As in, like, listen to it throughout things. Yeah, because
umpire to bring the ball back in now. Jarvis got a little knock on it. That was okay. McNamara Got the little handball out. The clearing kick by Allen comes out and getting down nice and low. He's the big man Heath and he takes the mark. He's not afraid to get down on ground level, and I like the way he goes about things, especially seeing that it is wet weather football today. So Heath on the left boot. Purchase wasn't fantastic. Went for Henderson over the back of the pack there. Bazinskas tried to break a tackle. Kept the ball alive though. Still alive, but eventually goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. He's going to win this game, Billy Vickers.
At the moment, I'm still liking Boronia. It's they've had a lot more of the... They're doing well in the contested possession, and they just seem to be working around the ground and controlling the football a lot more, but we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a tough one.
Peduto got the clearing kick up towards the middle of the ground. A little scrambling kick went into the arms of McGarnis. Dropped what he probably should have taken. Now Grice receives a handball and kicks the ball up towards the centre half forward area. And the foot race is on. It needs to bounce favourably for Bolton. He might be able to trap the ball. He does now. He's got an open goal square if he wants to go for it. A short pass is on. Mark Hardy ran very strong and takes the mark. Jason Heath was by himself in the top of the goal square. He just didn't turn around quick enough. And the Silver Fox himself, Mark Hardy, will have a shot on goal from about 35 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Painted the picture very nicely then, BWS. Ran really hard to create an option then, did Mark Hardy. Really just shows his football smarts now, a veteran. I think this is game 384 today for Mark Hardy. So he played a lot of EFL football and just knows how to put himself in the right position at the right time.
Well, it's an important kick in the context of this game. Boronia, they've started each quarter the better, and it could happen again here as Mark Hardy comes in and kicks it straight over the goal umpire's head. That's Boronia's third. That's Mark Hardy's first of the afternoon. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Boronia lead 3 goals, 8-26. They're 2 goals away from Doncaster now at the 3.5-minute mark, who are 2-2-14.
Once again, Billy Vickers, Boronia jumped out of the blocks really well, nicely at the start of the quarter while the ball's dry. They're able to use that superior leg speed and move the ball quickly.
Certainly, Frosty, and you do notice as well, just class act with Mark Hardy down forward, but what they're doing is spreading really, really well from the contest, and that is so critical in the wet conditions. When you do win the ball, you need to spread well.
Division 1 scores at half-time. It is Warren leading by 11 over Blackburn, Norwood by 6 over Knox, and Vermont by 26 over Lilydale.
Doncaster get the clearance this time, but Boronia are able to repel through Goldsmith, and the kick up towards Hardy on the wing. Mark Hardy, careful kick, well weighted then for his former Scoresby teammate Mark Williams. Williams slips over as he kicks it, and it did impede his kick by, without a doubt then, Peduto on the end of it takes the mark at half-back for the Sharks. So Mark Peduto, not his best effort. Goldsmith had the front position then, came off hands to Maguire, who just started to loom large in that second quarter after a quiet start to the game. This is Luke Allison. Goes by hand. They come out of defence. Bainbridge got it to Rutherford. Little underground kick then by Rutherford to Hardy, who played that well and earns himself a free kick.
Division 2 scores at half-time. It is Bayswater by 22 over North Ringwood in a bit of an upset. Murrelbach running away from Doncaster East by 41. Montrose by 16 over Upper Ferntree Gully. And Mulgrave by 1 point over the Waverley Blues.
Bolden got the 1-2 then. Bolden's long kick to the forward line. And Doncaster get the defenders back.
Boundary.
And Croydon lead Donvale by 26 as we cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Riley Beveridge.
James Siakavalis, he hasn't come back on after half-time, so Doncaster are down to 3 on the bench for the second half.
It's a big loss because I thought he was really good in that first half. Siakavalis for Doncaster. A lot of players over the footy. They appeal for holding the ball, the umpire having none of that. And just wants a bit of space, throws it up now. McKenzie in the ruck for Doncaster. Quick kick, fired at the goal, but it's off target, and a minus score then on the board for the Hawks, who are doing all the attacking in the early part of this third quarter. 6 minutes gone already. Gee, that's flown by. Boronia 3-9-27, Doncaster 2-2. 2 goals, 2-14, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Let's have a look at Division 3 at half-time, shall we? In course, Boronia leads this game by 6 points, but Ringwood by 6 goals over Churnside Park, Wanturna South by 47 points over Mitcham, Templestowe by 16 in a bit of an upset over Heathmont, and Whitehorse lead Glen Waverley in a very close game by 3 points. Time for Division 4 though. Park Orchards trail Ferntree Gully by 3 points, Nuttawading by a single point over Canterbury, Surrey Park by 13 over Coldstream, and the Eastern Lions by 14 points over Kilsyth as the ball is now in the arms of Bazinski. Zinskas. Inside forward 50 or thereabouts. Got it over to Van Doherty. Scrambling kick finds the way of Grice. On hands and knees. He needs to pick the ball up. Heath is in there as well. The ball almost stayed alive. The umpire eventually comes in and says, I'll throw it in, boys, about 35 metres out from goal.
Some really clean ball skills then from Nathan McDonald, number 70 for Boronia, moving the ball on, the son of East Ringwood assistant coach Greg McDonald.
The umpire throws the ball back in now. Jarvis over the back got the knockdown. Boronia might be able to get this one out. Hardy got the little handball away, put Josh Allison under a lot of pressure. He was wrapped up in a tackle and will have a bounce. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Disposals this quarter, 29-7 in favour of Boronia.
7.5 minutes gone in this third term. 13 points is the difference. Boronia across their half-forward line on hands and knees. He's in there and he's Anarchis. Can't quite pick the ball up. Grice comes over the top and will have a ball up. It's now on the 50-metre line for Boronia. Plenty of great games as you go local for your football this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. As the umpire throws the ball up now. Goldsmith got the knockdown. Laying the tackle there was Allen. Hot football across that half-forward line for Boronia. No one can get clear disposal and will have a bounce.
It's some of those leaders for Boronia that have really taken that step up in their game early in this third quarter. Guys like Mark Hardy and Dean Grice really getting involved.
Jarvis had the front spot against Goldsmith, knocked it down. They tried to get a clearing kick. There was McGarnis. He was dispossessed, charging through. There was Nathan Allen. He couldn't get a clear kick either. It's a really hot footy in the forward pocket there for Boronia. No one wants to give up possession, and we'll have a boundary throw in about 45 metres out still from the Boronia goal line. 8.5 minutes have ticked over. The ball is brought back in now by the umpire. Once again, Jarvis from the back. He's winning a lot of knockouts from the back position here. Coming in through was Allen. He couldn't quite get the ball out. The clearing kick for Doncaster goes into the middle of the ground. The player who wanted it most was Jess Bolton. Just couldn't quite hold in the mark. At the back, Mark Hardy couldn't quite get the handball away. He was pinged for holding the ball there because he threw it. So a good tackle there by Adrian Galache on the wing position for Doncaster. He wants to move the ball very quickly up towards the half-forward line. It was a good kick too. Marcus Fry was front and centre in position A. Just couldn't quite hold the slippery ball. Mark Hardy wants to dive on it and just hold it in there for the safety of it. Fry goes in after it again. He's wrapped up by Hardy. Garrity stands over it as well. Good tackle there by McKenzie to leave the ball on the ground for the umpire to come in and cross himself. It's about 70 metres out from the Doncaster goals now.
Rain continues to fall here at Tormore Reserve, and Boronia continue to lead 13 points the margin as Watson gets it on the ball, or boot to ball, I should say, hugging the boundary with the kick. This is Begg, and in fact it was Callanan then couldn't quite keep the ball in play. So boundary thrown right in front of our broadcast position here at Tormore Reserve this afternoon. It's a great spot to watch a game from here, but it's a pretty hard game to watch at this stage. Very difficult conditions. McNamara was tackled then by Henderson while he was on the ground. Free kick will go to the Sharks, and it will go to McNamara. He just got his arm pulled by Henderson then while he was lying on the ground. So McNamara's kick against his former team up towards half forward. A lot of players crashing in, and there's a strong tackle there by Anarchis, by Galache, I should say. Free kick goes to Bolton. Just does everything well, Jess Bolton.
Smooth.
Really good player. And as he hits a teammate with the pass, rarely makes a mistake. Just sort of sums up the situation well. Kicks goals as a midfielder. Sets up play for his teammates. Very underrated footballer. As the ball will be...
Free kick to Carlson.
Well, it is a free kick to Doncaster. So that kick must have gone out on the full. So free kick to Matt Carlson, who... It's been a little bit quiet. I was sort of hoping we'd probably see a bit more from him today. Heard plenty of talk in the pre-match of this afternoon about what he's capable of. Kicked 5 goals a couple of weeks ago for the Sharks. Boots it forward now. There's a quick kick out of the pack.
Oh, that's a goal.
I think it's gone through for a goal. It has gone through. And Doncaster,
So no doubt be giving him plenty. Familiar long sleeves. Kicks it up towards the Jarvis direction. He had
There
three
he
to
is,
beat. He
again.
was nearly shepherded out of it, but Brad Henderson's man, Bolton, takes the mark, moves it into the middle of the ground to Henderson, his namesake, and now the ball switched across the centre of the ground. Who's going to be the first to meet it? It'll be Allison of the Luke variety. Picks the ball up, drives the ball inside forward 50. It's a beautiful kick as well. Coming out and taking a mark is the big man in Heath, and from about 45 metres out from goal, he'll have a shot and get the answer that Boronia seemed to be doing all afternoon, Peter Baird.
That's exactly what they've been trying to set up all afternoon. They left some space in front of Jason Heath then, and the pass just went to that hot spot. Heath knew exactly where to lead.
So, distance will push him with a wet football, but he's usually a beautiful kick, and he might have squeezed this one home. Listen to the crowd down behind those goals, because they loved it. Jason Heath loved it, and the Boronia Football Club loved it, and they stretched their lead back out to 13 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard at the 13.5-minute mark. Boronia 4-9-33, Doncaster 3-2-20, Billy Vickers.
Fantastic goal there by the Hawks, and what they did was that when they got it out to the wing and used, what they did, they used it really quickly, and that gives your forward the option to lead into space. There's not the numbers down there, and they went bang and they took the opportunity.
Mark Hardy spoke pre-game about trying to go long and wide. In that time there, they're able to centre it up once they get it to that hot spot in front of the goals, about 35 metres out. And that's probably something they haven't been doing so far yet today. They've been going wide all the way down and finding themselves getting lost and trapped deep in those pockets. That time they're more disciplined play, more probably conform normal sort of style of football, and it's worked rewards then for them by being able to hit that spot player up about 35 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, it was Luke Allison who did hit Heath up with a great pass then and to set up that goal. And he's the man who Steve Pym once described as the best player that he's played football alongside, played with, Jason Heath. And those two, of course, played together at both Mitcham and Scoresby. But now Jason Heath doing it for Boronia. Look at the mud through the as the players crash in. And that would be the wettest part of the ground where the footy is right now. Gee, that was well played, though, by the Hawks. They tumble it forward.
Oh,
Mitch
what a
Wright,
mark.
that was courage. He slid in. He had two players approaching him. Took the mark. Dishes off the pass. Gave it to Allen. Racing in now, I think that's Bolton, and he's put it out of bounds on the full. So that was very promising play from the Hawks, but didn't end up too well. Obviously, Bolton, a rare mistake from him today. And the Sharks will clear the area with Anarchis, who's just starting to really have a big impact on this game. Seems to enjoy these conditions. Not his best kick. It was a shocker. People. The kick tumbles forward. Watson came from behind then against McAllister, and Lachlan Watson has really struggled to get into the game today. Hasn't had his usual impact. He often kicks sort of 2 or 3 goals a week, and hasn't had that impact, of course, today. But goals are at an absolute premium this afternoon. 13-point lead for Boronia. We heard Soupy mention at half-time that or in the first quarter it was 1-4 to 1-1, and in the second term the exact same result again. Boronia 1-4 to Doncaster's 1-1. Pretty low scoring third quarter once again here, but Boronia have managed 2 goals for this term, of course.
Oh, that's as deliberate as you get.
The boundary, it was very deliberate, but I think the umpire is going to be pretty charitable to him. And I mentioned Soupy then, thanks to Choose Tap, Grant Campbell with some more stats that matter.
Contested possessions this quarter, 22 to 10 in favour of Boronia. Doncaster need to do better in that aspect of the game if they're going to come back and win this one.
Would have been a very harsh umpire then, Brad Henderson, I think, to pay that one there. It's to put it out of bounds. Ball wet on the ground. Player gets the boot on, looking for extra yardage. Yeah, there wasn't a direct target that he was kicking the ball to, but just trying to gain that extra 30 metres down the ground. So I reckon would have been very, very stiff if the umpire had played that one deliberate out of bounds.
Well, the ball's popped over the boundary line, and nobody wants to get down on their hands and knees and lean under a car and pick it up. So we've got a player who's now jumped the fence to make sure that happens, because we're still waiting for that boundary throw in across the Boronia half-forward line. Yeah.
Just as well it didn't go under our boundary. Rider sitting in the front seat of the Mitsubishi 380 there in front of us.
Well, don't dare Spadudo across the half-back line for Doncaster. He turned his opponent inside out, kicked it up towards Loomis Cece. He was dispossessed of the football, couldn't quite hold on to it. Coming through there, Lachlan McKernan goes for the 1-2 with Hardy, then goes into the middle to Pat Garrity, bangs it on his boot. Kicks it up towards the centre-half forward line. Doncaster have the numbers at the fall. The ball, that was okay. I think Wright's in there, but McGarnis was over the top of him and will have a bounce. In fact, it was Paddy Gamwell who was on the bottom of that pack. So centre-half forward, the ball lies for Boronia. Umpire throws it back up. We might have another start here. Jarvis goes in after it. We will have another stoppage. Some more choose taps stats, Grant Campbell.
Well, not surprising, the tackle count's high. Effective tackles this quarter 11-6 in favour of Doncaster, but Boronia lead forward 50 tackles 3-0.
Well, Jarvis got the big knockout straight into the arms of Hardy, who banged it on his boot inside forward 50, but to no avail as Doncaster get the clearing kick again. It's kick-to-kick football. Muller, who's had absolutely nothing of it today, couldn't take the mark. Callanan bursts through, kicks the ball inside forward 50. Oh, went straight through the arms there of Watson. We're running into an open goal. Is the big man Heath. Is 2 in a row, and Boronia are kicking away in this game. It's only low score as we cross time on. Bendigo Bank scoreboard reads Boronia 5-9-39. Doncaster 3-2-20. He's got skills, hasn't he?
He has, big Jason Heath, but I think it's more about the style of footy Boronia are playing this quarter. They're playing a much more structured brand of footy. They're actually kicking along to a one-on-one contest rather than flooding all their numbers deep into their own forward line, which is a little bit of space for guys like Jason Heath to move in and work in, and that's what's creating those opportunities.
19-point lead then for Boronia as we are into time on in the third quarter. And Jason Heath, he's doing a great job. But you mentioned Steve Muller before BWS. I reckon it would be the first time you've called him today.
Yep.
I've called him once as well. 8 goals last week he kicked, but you're right, he has not had a sniff of it today. And in the absence of James Appleford, they really need Steve Muller to start to have some sort of impact on this game. He's been silent to this stage. There's the kick by McKenzie. Bounces it into the path of Decorato. Little quick kick forward. Was intended for Maguire. Well played then by Jess Moore. Fed the handball out, but Doncaster win the footy back. Big high kick, and it's marked there.
Happened, so the umpire starts it again. McKenzie over the back, got the little knockdown. Carlson came charging through. He tried to break a tackle, nicely wrapped up by Jess Bolton, and we'll have a bounce about 40 metres out from the Doncaster goal line. It's about a 45-degree angle. Comes down, Galache took it. He was wrapped up in a tackle, and once again, Grant Campbell, we have another stoppage. What are they sitting at, thanks to Choose Tab?
Oh, well, the clearance count is 10-7 in favour of Boronia, but a lot of repeat stoppages, so the tackles 11 each now.
The umpires paid a free kick out of the ruck contest. It will go the way of... Well, it nearly could have been advantage paid there. It's going a bit of holding on Dean Grice at the stoppage. So...
Cream rising to the top late in this quarter as well. Dean Grice really starting to take hold of those clearances.
Well, he gets onto a barrel as well. He kicks it up towards the wing position. Wright was there to take the ball. It bounced away from him over the boundary line and out of bounds she goes. True centre wing position out here. Members side of Tormore Reserve. 24 minutes gone in the third term, and it's a handy 18-point lead to the Boronia Hawks as the umpire brings the ball back into play now. Who's going to win this one out? Jarvis got a little shimmy of a kick away, looking for Badudo, picked up there by Bazinskas, and we'll have another throw in.
Still a 3-goal lead then for Boronia. 5-9 plays 3 goals 3 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as the umpire throws it back in once more. A lot of players getting hands on it, but no one can really get a clean possession. Carlson was stripped of the footy. Umpire quite a long way away from the pack then. Couldn't really see what was going on. Put it out to Anarchus, and the kick lands in the arms of Marcus Fry. So Fry wheels around now. Short pass was a poor one, and turns over the footy to Allen. Nathan Allen sinks the slipper into it, but it's not his best kick. It's been marked there by Gamwell for Doncaster. So Gamwell at half back. Kicks to a 2-on-1. Galache read it better than anybody there at the back and fed the little handball over the top to Maguire. Floating kick from Maguire to Anarchus. Anarchus now off the deck, soccers it forward. Getting back. Plenty of defenders there. Garrity for Boronia. Pat Garrity's kick. Out to this broadcast side. Nicely played then. It was really well done then by Callanan. Gathered it in. Looks for Watson. Lockie Watson, gee, did that well also. To Josh Allison under pressure. Lumachisi intercepts it now, dives on the footy, tries to get rid of it, finally does so to Peduto. Jarvis bangs it forward to the true centre-half forward position. There's plenty of Hawks back there. This is Goldsmith, bit of a floating kick, wanted the boundary line, finds it, and what does the umpire say? He says that is fine in my book, and I'll throw it back into play. So 27 minutes gone, third quarter. Boronia 5-9-39. Doncaster 3-3-21. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, BWS.
The umpire threw it in. Jarvis got the knockout. It was kicked away, and we'll have a boundary throw in right in front of us here in the broadcast position. As a little tag team duo of Henderson and Goldsmith make their change in the ruck. So there can't be too much longer to go in this quarter. It's the longest of the day so far. Almost 28 minutes gone. Henderson in the front spot, knocked it over his back. A little kick by Wright off the ground. Players going in, nearly kicking in danger on their own main. Van Dort was in there. So too was Carlson for Doncaster. Tried to keep the ball alive. Peduto comes in charging for it. And we'll have another boundary throw in. Let's cross down Carside thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Riley Beveridge.
Yeah, Mark Peduto, he was tagging Dean Grice in the first half. He's now got Matt Pazinskis, and he's already cramping up, so the Doncaster boys are a bit tired, I reckon.
Umpire throws it in. It was a short one too. Henderson got it out. Galache tried to trap it. Nicely done there by Van Dort. I like the way this guy goes about it, but it was half smothered too. Allen got a kick. He's been serviceable today as well, up towards the half ball.
In these conditions, that's, you would think, unassailable, because it's getting worse and it's getting darker. The rain continuing to fall.
As Bruce Press would normally say, time for me to put on the dress and warm up the vocal cords.
The umpire tosses it up in the middle.
That's a bit rough.
A lot of players around the footy. Was slid out then from Grice to Moore. Moore's kick around the corner, and Watson on a long lead. He's had a really good third quarter, Lockie Watson, after being quiet in that first half. Here goes Allison for Boronia. Touches it to the ground. Josh Allison.
Should have done better. Should have done better with that kick.
And he's not a great kick generally, Frosty. And that was no exception. A minus score then. That would have definitely sealed the game. But as it is, still a 25-point lead to Boronia on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
He just cost himself maybe a part of EFL Player of the Week there, Peter Baird.
Quite possibly, but in the scheme of things, might be a handy point. I think they call that one, don't they?
Well, McGarnis has taken it in the back line for Doncaster. Kicks it out towards the wing position at the full. The ball nicely done there by Jess Bolton and nicely wrapped up by Ewan McKenzie in a tackle, and we'll have a bounce. 31 minutes have gone in this third term. Some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap Grant Campbell.
Inside 50s this quarter, 11-5 to Boronia. Only stat Doncaster's winnings the hitouts 20-12.
And Jarvis knocked it straight into McNamara, who was dispossessed trying to get rid of it, and we'll have another bounce. Members side of Tormore Reserve. Ground's held up okay. It's very tough conditions out there. Let's be honest about it. It's quite muddy. Coming in there, Galache tried to keep the ball alive, but couldn't. So we'll have another boundary throw in. Might be able to open play up a little bit. So the umpire to bring the ball back in now. Up she goes, Henderson at the back of the pack, got a little knockdown as the siren goes for three-quarter time, and what a fantastic quarter it was by the home side, Boronia, in that one. They lead it by 4 goals, just over 4 goals in fact, at three-quarter time. 25-point margin, Boronia 6-10-46. Doncaster are 2 goals, 3-21. There's only one major goal kicker for the afternoon, and that is Jason Heath, who kicked 2 goals in that term. Will it be enough for the Boronia Hawks? Only time will tell. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on EFL Game Day. Ben Waterworth will be back after the break to tell you all those important.
11-14-80. The Dogs 9-39 after they led only by about 15 points at the final change. They've scored 4 goals already in the final term, and the Bulldogs have been held scoreless. A few major goal scorers for the Hawks, Jordan Lewis, Jared Roughhead and Simpkin have each booted 2 majors. Meanwhile, Ryan Griffin is a leading possession winner on the ground for the Dogs, accumulating 27 disposals. The Hawks doing it easily there, but I tell you what, the Bombers are not doing that easily over the GWS Giants. We're 16 minutes into the third term currently, and it's only a 2-goal margin in favour of the Dons. They lead at 10-3-63 to GWS 8-3-51 in the western suburbs of Sydney at Skoda Stadium. Jeremy Cameron is dominating up forward for the Giants. He's booted 4 majors already. Jonathan Giles has also scored 2 goals. Meanwhile, for the Bombers, their only major goal scorer is Collier with 2 goals to this stage of the game. And of course there is a twilight match transpiring from 4:40 this afternoon with the Gold Coast hosting Collingwood from Metricon Stadium. We'll give you update scores as that happens later on in the afternoon. But we head back after these messages to Tormore Reserve for the final term of the big Division 3 clash between Boronia and Doncaster.
Desperately need budget-friendly windows? Visit T&B Discount Window Warehouse, who'll have the right solution for you. T&B has new and surplus windows to suit any budget needs, and you'll still have spare change to finish off your renovation. Visit T&B's new Superstore, Unit 4, 116 to 118 Canterbury Road in Kilsyth. T&B Discount Window Warehouse, part of the EAL and AW Window Transport Group, your number one in window transport.
Call 1300 075 038.
Program sponsor.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tag. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week, and I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
Saturday game day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Three-quarter time out here at Tormore Reserve at a very warm
Boundary.
Tormore Reserve. Not Boronia leading this one by 25 points. Let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Andy Paolaci.
Hi, we're here with our assistant coach for Boronia, Marcus McNaughton. Marcus, fairly even first half, but you guys really took control in that third quarter. What was the difference there?
I think our attack at the ball and the fact that we just made everything an absolute competition every time it hit the deck. Just stoppage after stoppage, we just kept defending and eventually broke free towards the end there. I think that was the difference.
And a big difference also, I thought, was Jason Heath really stood up as a dominating presence up forward. Just explain to us how important
and he manages to force the ball up.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Riley Beveridge, who listened to AT at three-quarter time.
Yeah, he said they were playing bruise-free footy. He wasn't happy with it. He said you can't allow a quality side 5 minutes of good football. Watch out for an 8-man backline this quarter. They really want to thrust it forward out of defence.
Strong tackle applied this time, and once again going nowhere. Liked Bill Goldsmith's game down back. I reckon he's been really good for Boronia. He's been involved again a couple of times in the early stages of this last term.
Interesting to hear saying an 8-man backline. There's not one man at the moment in Doncaster backline.
No, everybody's down this end of the field where we are, and the rain is hosing down now. There's the quick kick, hugging the boundary once more. It's gone out on the full. And so a free kick to Doncaster. They get another chance to reload here through Schimmelbusch. Very low kick. It was probably not the best option in the conditions. Grice belts it forward. Coleman works his way back. Good closing speed shown then from Mitchell Wright to manage to get to the scene of the crime and force the ball up. Thought Coleman had that one pretty well covered, but Mitch Wright hunted the footy down.
I think that's a pretty good assessment there at three-quarter time by Andrew Tranquilli. If Doncaster are going to make any difference in this final quarter, they need to go in really, really hard at these stoppages and just win the ball, because that's where it's going to happen for them.
McKernan shovelled it out to Van Dort. Little give then to Goldsmith. Tumbles it forward. It's in dispute at the moment there. The quick kick came forward for Boronia, and it was from Josh Allison. And he really just threw the ball on the boot and found the boundary line once more. So still a 25-point lead. No score thus far in the final quarter here, thanks to Bendigo Bank, BWS.
The umpire throws it in. Mackenzie got a little knock out the back door. Comes out towards the Bazinkas area. Comes out towards Fry now off the ground. They're doing it by foot, all players, as the ball just sits in the bog. Picked up now by Bolton. Got a little handball away. That was okay to Allison of the Luke variety. Bangs it on his boot inside forward 50. Looking for his teammate in Lachlan McDonald. But the boundary line beats those players. And we'll have a ball in about 45 metres out from the Boronia goals.
I don't mind the other move that Andrew Tranquilli's gone through. He's isolating Chris Anarchis at full forward, being matched up by Shannon Bainbridge as well. So the class of Anarchis trying to provide the spark there to get this side back in the game.
Jarvis and Goldsmith. Goldsmith worked his way to the front, got the knockdown. It's still about 30 metres out from the Boronia goals. If they can get a little handball out, that'll be okay. Garrity bangs it on his boot to the top of the goal square. It might bounce, scooped up by Ryan. He couldn't get boot to ball. That's a ripper tackle by Nick Coman, and he crashes him into the fence as well. Over she goes for a boundary throw-in about 20 metres out from the Boronia goals. Rain teeming down here at Tormore Reserve. We're really feeling for Victoria Halkias out at 6 degrees Coldstream today, but the game will be warming her up very nicely. Look forward to that report after the game in the BCG Bayswater Post Match. Ball's about 30 metres out from the Boronia goals. We'll once again have another stoppage. Some important stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap, Grant Campbell.
Inside 50s this final quarter, 3-2 in favour of Boronia. Contested possessions, 11-1.
Picked up by Williams, got the little handball away to right. He brought it around on the left boot, but he couldn't quite swing it back enough and through for a minor score. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, that's the first of the final term. And Boronia lead at 6 goals, 11-47. Doncaster 3-3-21.
Schimmelbusch brings the ball back in, and it lands in the arms then of Galache, who started this game really well, has faded out of proceedings to some extent. That was Rutherford, did well, then had front position, and the ball at the moment on the wing position here at Tormore Reserve. 26 points the margin. Ball shuffled out. Decorato throws it on the boot, wants the boundary line. Won't quite make it though. McKernan gathers it in, shares it with Moore. Jess Moore's kick, hugging the boundary, was pretty effective to Van Dort. Clever handball over the top then by Van Dort. They just keep pushing it forward here, Boronia. It's not pretty, but it's quite effective. Allison got it to Callanan. Takes the tackler on. Managed to get his handball away. Carlson all wrapped up. Really good strong tackle then by Nathan Allen. And Matt Carlson then was going nowhere.
When they've had the ball, they've turned it over way too much in the middle of the ground, the Sharks, and then as the opposite, Boronia have managed to use their link-up play, use their handball a lot more, and made it much more superior in this style of game and in this weather circumstance, boys.
Free kick went to Mackenzie, but he's turned the ball straight over. That's costly for Doncaster. They can't afford to make sort of elementary errors like that. And Mackenzie just put the kick straight down the throat of Van Dort for Boronia. So Van Dort's kick, Mackenzie tries to redeem himself and affect the contest, fists it towards the boundary line, and it will be a throw-in. 26-point lead to Boronia, 6-11-47. Doncaster 3-3-21 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and it's coming up to 7 minutes gone in the final quarter.
The umpire threw it up. Magarnis was the third man up. He went for the fly, more on hands and deck. And we'll have another bounce with Jarv wrapping him up. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Well, Billy was right about Doncaster not handballing. In the second half, the handballs has been 39-7 in favour of Boronia.
Mackenzie got the knockdown. He's looking for a teammate in Fry. Somehow a kick's been shimmied out by Boronia. It'll go out of bounds on the full. In the back forward pocket, the back forward pocket, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's the back pocket for the Doncaster Football Club. But let's look at some Division 1 scores at three-quarter time as Balwyn lead by 19 points over Blackburn in a relatively tight game. It is the Knox Football Club by 7 points over Norwood and Vermont by 35 over the Lilydale Football Club. It's still a hot football. It's across the 50-metre mark for Boronia as we turn our attention to Division 2 with Bayswater leading by 14 points over North Ringwood. A massive upset on the cards there. Doncaster East, well, what a quarter they had there. They kicked 9 goals to all of a sudden, well, that doesn't work out at all. Ben Waterworth will come back to that game. Upper Fentry Gully trail by 28 points to Montrose, and Mulgrave trail Waverley Blues by 23 points. What a tease to get me so excited by that. potential third turn by Doncaster East. But the ball's on true centre wing position on the far side of the ground. Jarvis goes up in the ruck. He got the knockdown looking for Fry. Van Dort's in there too for Boronia. Got a little handball out. Henderson out the back door. Found the arms of Galache. He couldn't quite trap it. Muller still can't get boot to ball. He paddles it straight over the boundary line and out of bounds. 8.5 minutes gone here in this final term. In other Division 3 games, Ringwood lead by 36 over Churnside Park. Wanturna South killing Mitcham by 69. Templestowe in a close one over Heathmont by 4. The Basin by 25 over Warrandyte. And another close game, Glen Waverley Hawks over Whitehorse by 5 points as Carlson has the ball for Doncaster, kicks it up inside forward 50, looking for Anarchis. He couldn't quite get it. Lumen Cheesy comes in on the opposite boot, kicks it up towards the top of the goal square area, but nobody's home because the only man back there is Allison of the Luke variety for Boronia, and he's got players out across the half back line in Garrity, who might go back to Allison here on the right boot, kicks it up towards the wing position over the top there of Coleman. He couldn't quite pull it in, but at the fall of the ball, Watson couldn't quite trap it. Over the boundary line she goes for a boundary throw in. Division 4 scores at 3/4 time, 15-point lead by Ferntree Gully Eagles. Nuttawading lead by 8 over Canterbury. It's all square at Coldstream, Surrey Park, and 20-point lead by the Eastern Lions over Kilsyth. As the ball comes back in, it went straight through the arms there of Begg. Still across the half-forward line there for Doncaster, picked up by Moore, banged it on his left boot, up towards the half-forward line. Slippery football, sees it in the arms of McGarnis. His kick was half smothered, so he has to go after it again. Gets the handball out towards the Coleman direction. He needs to be clever enough to pick it up.
Peduto throws the ball on the boot, gets the kick away, and look at the amazing slide by Dipier Domenico. Took the mark. Terrible kick, was intended for Galache, missed him by a fair margin.
Tackle.
The Hawks had the numbers then. Hardy got it from Williams. Hardy seemed to be held. Just fed it out then to Allison. Now it's with Callanan. Callanan got it from McKernan, in fact, and there's the kick forward. Boronia teaming together well here. Allison of the Josh variety got it to Grice. Grice's kick though was a poor one, and he's turned the ball over. So that was Gamewell for Doncaster, who comes out of defence. McKernan, short pass on to Grice. Saw Dean Grice come off the field before for an interchange. He looked cold, he looked tired, looked very sore, but he also looked reasonably content because his team's up by 4 goals. As Van Dort takes the mark, and too far out to score, of course, just goes in very short, careful kick, and he honours the lead then from Henderson, hits him on the chest. Ryan Henderson will go back and line up for his first goal of the afternoon.
Well done from Henderson, but that's just not good enough there from Doncaster, allowing that clean lead up the ground, Frosty.
That's right, and the other player I've been really impressed with out on that far forward pocket in there is Josh Van Dort. He's been really good.
He's been very good.
He has indeed. Henderson's kick to the line, and it's been fisted through for a minus score.
He's had a fair bit of the football. The ball's been coming down a fair bit as well in tough conditions. Pazinskis somehow kept it alive inside. Ball in the arms now of Josh Allison. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Luma Cheesy, who's also in there, and will have a bounce across the half-forward line now for Boronia. Neither side yet to register a major in this final term. We've almost crossed 15-minute mark of this last term. Josh Limachese on the bottom of the pack. We'll give it back to the umpire as we have another stoppage, another restart.
I haven't minded Zach Callanan's game as well today, boys. I think his Shark Packs put himself in a really good spot around the ground, and also his break-free running around the ground has been really, really, really well done.
Well, Jordan Beck, who's come alive in this last quarter, kicks it to the top of the goal square. Heath gave a little nudge, and he wanted it to sit for him, but it bounces through for one behind. Minor score is the result on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It is Boronia at the 15-minute mark, leading 6-13-49. It's a 28-point lead. Doncaster 3-3-21.
So Schimmelbusch brings the ball back in, and it's Grice now for Boronia. Tries to work his magic. Got it to Bolton. Careful kick, but it's been chopped off by Carlson. Matt Carlson had that kick well scouted. Kick just falls off the side of the boot to some extent, but Galache still was able to get to it first. Decorato now for the Sharks. Puts the kick around in the corner, but it's all Boronia back there. And socket off the ground by Anarchus, so they managed to keep forcing it forward, Doncaster. Grice got involved once more. He's had a big last quarter. Bolton gave it off to Bainbridge. Bainbridge's kick to the wing position.
Well done.
Was really well done by Watson, but his little soccer kick then was intercepted by Coleman. Launching a long kick, Coleman went through the hands of Maguire. Josh Allison works back, shares it with Bainbridge. It's usually a very good kick of the footy, Shannon Bainbridge. This wasn't such a good one though. And there's a flying shot at the goal. I think that was by Maguire, and he's hit the post.
Yeah, you're right, BW. Decorato it was.
Decorato's kick hits the post, and Doncaster get their first score of the quarter, as a matter of fact.
I think Shannon Bainbridge's only thing that lets him down is the non-use of his right foot, which caused the turnover there, as Boronia are on their far side of the ground now. They've got the clearing ball, they've got the clearing players, and the 3-bomb kick up towards the half-forward line, nearly marked there by Schimmelbusch. Also in there is Heath coming in to lend support. Is Alan Carlson's on his hammer, and we'll have a bounce at centre half forward for the Boronia side.
Yeah, like so many left footers, BWS, very good off his dominant foot, but there's no right foot to speak of.
Jarvis got the knockdown. Grice came charging in. Hasn't he come alive in this game? Got the little handball out. The kick goes inside forward 50 now for Boronia at the back of the pack. Bazinskas needs to be clever off the ground in there and doing it nicely. Richie McNamara just forcing the behind. So another minus score to Boronia. Well, they keep piling it on as 20 scoring shots to 7 out here today at Tormore Reserve. 17 and a half minutes gone. The Hawks lead 16-14, 50. Doncaster 3-4, 22.
Schimmelbusch brings the ball back in once more. It's I think that's Peduto with it. The outer side. Long kick to a big pack of players. Lumachisi at the back. Applies a tackle now. And Doncaster holding the ball, but it was not paid thanks to Tues-Tappy's Soupy Campbell.
Forward 50 tackles now 17-9 in favour of Boronia. This quarter 8-0.
Well, that's a bit of a hiding in that regard then, as game still pretty close, but the result's been decided quite a while ago. Carlson got a handball away, intercepted by Williams, paddled it on further afield. That was James Campbell, who fed it out to Galache. Galache's kick lands in the long arms there of Marcus Fry. Fry's short pass to DiPier Domenico. Just leans back on the kick. And he wanted Maguire. Couldn't quite find him with the kick.
That was too easy for Boronia to get back there, boys. Doncaster, if they're going to make a difference, they've got to use it really, really quickly. Boronia's men just flood back in their defensive 50 and they cut off those options.
Eternal optimist you are, Billy Vickers. It's probably only 8 minutes of football left in this game. They trail by 5 goals, only kicking 3 for the whole game.
Anything is possible, Frosty. Maybe not today, though.
Well, it's on the wing position. That was Grice, who's had a massive last quarter. Allen really crunches in hard. Probably gave a free kick away. The umpire didn't see it that way, though. And we'll ball it up.
This is an important win here for Boronia because having won by nearly 5 goals in such a low-scoring contest, and Mitcham likely to go down to Wantirna South this afternoon, it actually elevates them into second position on the ladder.
So Mitcham are going down.
That's right. So this is a huge win for them in the context of their season.
Well, the ball on the wing position, it was Anarchus hunting the footy, does really well. Chris Anarchus gathers it in against Bolden.
Is in there, more he's been good today, gets it out to Garrity, who turned himself into a lot of trouble, got the little handball away, quickly shimmied out by Josh Allison, then off the ground there by Tom McAllister, who pushed it right across the face of goal off the ground and bounced through for one behind. So Doncaster, they're doing it point by point, clawing back this deficit at this stage. 21 and a half minutes gone in the final term, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Boronia leads 6-14-50, Doncaster are 3-5-23.
So the short pass is on to Bainbridge. Swings onto that trusty left foot. Looks for Mitch Wright on the wing. Wright gathered it in.
Wrong decision, Wright.
Handball wasn't a good one to Henderson. Yeah, probably bad decision and then poor execution as well. McKernan's kick didn't travel very far. Coleman almost gave a free kick away. It's been a like a couple of other radio games this year, Frosty, where I reckon one of the differences between the two sides has been just everyone's contributed for Boronia, whereas there's been a good half dozen Doncaster players who have had little to no impact on the game.
And it's so important, particularly on a day like today. You don't need to necessarily be the most skillful or gifted player out there, but you can provide 100% effort, and that hasn't been what we've seen from every player in the Doncaster jumper this afternoon.
Henderson again chopping the arms, gives a free kick away. Didn't learn his lesson from a couple of minutes ago when he gave that free to Lumachese. This time it's Peduto who's the beneficiary, and Peduto goes laterally to Kid Funky Fry. Marcus Fry to Peduto. Little handball. Got it to Maganis. Maganis' kick, not a good one. And Mark Williams just safely pouches the mark and then says, well, just steady down here. Slow things down. Ice the clock. Not that there's any danger for Boronia in this situation. 27 points the margin as Bolton has the ball deep in defence. Jess Bolton liked his game today. Won't be far out of the votes, for me at least. Not a good kick. And he's turned the footy over and it's been marked there. I think that's McAllister for Doncaster.
Yep.
McAllister's kick. Henderson was in the box seat, couldn't take the mark. And he'll get another chance here. McAllister safely holds the mark this time as well. Goes short with the kick. Ambitious, to say the least, as he tried to a very precise kick intended for Fry. Couldn't
Can't
quite
be
pull
cute
it
in
off.
these conditions.
No, definitely not.
And I'm going to let you guys know we've got the first draw from the Eastern Football League this afternoon. Bayswater 9-7-61 have drew with North Ringwood 9-7-61.
Oh, that makes things interesting. The old 2-point differential at the top end of Division 2 ladder, but massive effort by the Waters there. That's great.
That's huge.
So the ball across the half-back line now for Boronia. You couldn't imagine there'd be too much longer in this game. And zip on cue, there is the siren. Final scores out here at Tormore Reserve. It was the home side, the Hawks, 6-14-50, defeating Doncaster 3-5-23. Fantastic performance by the home side today. They were sitting in 4th position before this match, taking on the top of the table, Doncaster. They make it 7 in a row, the Hawks do, and they're surging towards the finals, Peter Baird.
They are, and they probably may have secured a doubles chance this afternoon, moving themselves up to 2nd position on the ladder. And it's a huge result for them in the context of their season, as I said earlier. They were prepared to work hard right across the board this afternoon, a real team effort. You said you don't need to be the most gifted or the most skillful player on a day like this afternoon. If you're prepared to put your body on the line, you head over the ball, work hard, spread from the contest, you're going to get results. And that's exactly what Boronia did right across the board this afternoon.
Fantastic stuff by the home side. They really had control of the game, you would have thought, from the outset here today. They just really looked switched on, didn't they?
Oh, they did. They really came to play this afternoon, Billy.
They certainly did, and they just, in the engine room, it really, really counts in conditions like this. Bazinskis, Bolton, Callan and Van Dort, list goes on. They were the ones that were prepared to get in there and put their body on the line, and they just wanted it a bit more, I think, this afternoon, Boronia, and in the end, that really, really counted.
Going to be really interesting putting together our votes for the Ferntree Gully player of the day today, because there are a lot of players putting their hand up. It was a scrappy game of football. It was wet weather football. It was desperation stakes, basically, as the whole game unveiled, wasn't it? It was lots of tackling, lots of stoppages, lots of backing up your teammate, lots of working in numbers as well. A real old-fashioned traditional game of football. I loved it.
It was that traditional old-style game of footy where there wasn't patches of play where it was fast and open and clean and silky. It was just a hard slog all afternoon, and it's funny enough, but the side with the smaller bodies have actually won a hard-fought slog like that as well, and a real arm wrestle style of game where they just were prepared to work harder, and that was the difference. And their fitness, I think, really helped them as well. Late in the first half, Doncaster, I thought, showed signs that as the game turned into a scrap, their bigger body size might have got them some advantage in the game, but it was Boronia's willingness to work that really got them over the line, and I think that's a real trademark of any side that's ever been coached by Mark Hardy.
The Hawks certainly, definitely played the conditions better though as well, I think, Frosty. When they did get the opportunity to get the ball out on the outside, the Hawks
in the Premiership quarter. He stepped up with 2 majors. Singles to McKernan, Mark Hardy, Nathan Allen and Matt Bazinskas. For Doncaster, Greg Jarvis, he kicked 1 goal along with Chris Anakis, and we're giving the 3rd goal to Milko because we missed that one in the 3rd term. We think it might have been Lukey Maguire who put that goal through for Doncaster. Really low scoring affair. It's not the way Doncaster will have liked to have played their football today, Peter Baird. Will they take learnings out of this match?
I think the only learning that they can really take away from it is that they need to learn to be able to work harder. Boronia, they really utilise the bigger ground out here at Tormore really well. They utilising those really wide spaces to really run them off their legs and try and use that superior fitness, as I said, which I know Mark Hardy's worked really hard at making sure this group is really young and fit. He's blooded a lot of young junior under-19s players into this team. And you look at guys like Begg, McDonald, that have come in aside. Callanan's another one. They're really young, quick players that he's been able to bring in. It's given them a lot of It's another one you can probably add to that mix, where they just continually work hard, and that's probably a sign of Mark Hardy that we probably underestimate his ability to really bring on young players. And when you look at some of the young players, as a senior coach he's brought into teams at Bayswater, probably his big young guy that he developed there was Joel Galvin, who we've seen come on and become an absolutely fantastic player. At Roval, you look at guys like Alex Frawley, who he played as a 16-year-old, starting to find Boronia with 4 young kids coming into this side, and perhaps they're the champions we might be talking about in 5 or 6 years, the same way we talk about Galvin and Frawley.
I like the endeavour and the go-get of the young Mitchell Wright, who wore the helmet today. What did you think of him, Pete?
Yeah, he was really good. He's another one of those young players we're talking about. Prepared to put his body on the line, not intimidated by bigger bodies, so I thought he was really good as well.
Who did you tip today, Brad?
I tipped Boronia. Yeah, I tipped Boronia. I think we all did, just about, didn't we?
Well, I certainly tipped Boronia, and I think Peter Baird did as well. So, maybe we do know a little bit about this division. But let's go head over to Ben Waterworth with some final scores around the Eastern Football League.
Yeah, they're coming in thick and fast, I should say. Norwood 7-6-48 have defeated Knox 6-5-41. Knox led at 3/4 time. We have our first draw, as Frosty said. Bayswater 9-7-61. Drew with North Ringwood 9-7-61, and it makes it very interesting because Mooroolbark thumped Doncaster East today. Mooroolbark 15-2 defeated Doncaster East 5-6-36. But before I go on, let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Riley Beveridge has Mark Hardy.
Mark, big game today, and you delivered the goods in the wet. How happy are you?
Yeah, pretty ecstatic. The boys played really well. Boys really stuck out. It was fantastic.
Now you've moved to second with this win. How big is this for you? And coming into a game against Wanturna South next week, how's the confidence in the group?
Oh, well, I think that's 7 in a row, so the confidence is fairly high. But Wanturna South, they're going really well, and it's another game, and totally different, complex beast to what Doncaster are. So we need to be on our game to play well at home and win again.
I'll just cross you up to the boys in the caravan. Any questions from you guys?
G'day, Mark. Congratulations on a fantastic 4/4 performance by the boys. It was tough conditions today. Everybody played their role perfectly and really worked in numbers across the board.
Yeah, cheers, Benny. I think we worked hard at every contest. The mistakes were there, but the errors weren't, if you know what I mean. So it was a high percentage game that we played. We hit the boundary line when we needed to, and we were hard over the footy, and we broke them open. The end was fantastic.
It's Peter Baird here, mate. Congratulations on the win. We were just talking before we got you on the line that a real trademark of you as a coach is being able to bring in young kids and develop them. We saw guys like young Joel Galvin come into a Bayswater side as when you were a senior coach, a guy like Alex Frawley at Roval. And there's 4 kids we spoke about today. Guys like Begg and Callanan, Van Dort, coming into this team. They're fantastic. They're real players of the future for Boronia Footy Club.
Yeah, thank goodness that was a long question, Pete, because you were dropping out. We've got 3 or 4 young kids who are fantastic. You can see at the end of the game then, Pete, they ran really hard, and you've got to give them an opportunity playing on a big ground every second week. And, if they've got the skill and the ability and especially the pace, you've got to play them. So we're going to try and nurture those guys through, and it's a great experience for them today in the wet, heavy conditions, and they'll be better for it.
You talked about the big ground out here at Tormore Reserve this afternoon. You utilised it really well. You pushed Doncaster out wide, and with that real superior fitness, that was a real trademark. You were able to run over the top of them in the second half.
Yeah, I think the run and the spread was pretty evident. If we won the inside footy, and the boys love getting on the end of a handball now, which is really good. And as I said, Pete, you can't beat those legs at the end of the game with the speed. You saw little Zachy Callanan on the wing at the end of the game, mate. He just destroyed him. He carried ground and he kicked it between 30. He's got it in our direction, probably 50 metres, and that makes a massive difference in these conditions.
Yeah, Mark, it's Billy Vickers here, and as we said, a big ground on a wet day, really, really taxing conditions out there. The work, though, from Brzezinskis and guys like Bolt and Callum, Van Dort sometimes on the inside, getting the ball out so you can create a little bit of run. They did really well today in that respect.
Yeah, we've got a lot of grunt on the inside, but I think the good thing is, these guys can run on the outside as well, so they win the footy in, but they lead the stoppage really hard and run away. And that was a big advantage today. Their second and third efforts following up was fantastic, and at the on-balls today, they've earned their pay, put it that way.
We can't get too carried away with the fact that Mitcham have had a big loss today. All those top 3 or 4 teams have beaten each other at some stage during the year, and they've sort of split the wins, so I reckon it's fantastic. Division 3 this year is just, we knew at the start of the season it was going to be the division, the closest division, and it's certainly
Well, when it comes to wet weather football, the hardest position is to play on the ground, but when it's with the media team, it's the stats man, because it was stop, start all day. Grant Campbell, the stats that mattered, thanks to Choose Tap for the afternoon.
Well, Doncaster won the hit-out 74-47, but they weren't able to capitalise that and convert it into clearances. Boronia winning the clearances 49-37. The basic story was Boronia just found much more of the ball. Had kicks 181-161, handballs 114-55. Boronia won the contested possessions by 45, uncontested possessions by 34. Surprisingly, Doncaster won the inside 50s 44-38, while Boronia had 17 forward 50 tackles to 9, and that included 12-0 in the second half.
Great stuff, Soupy. Let's cross down boundaries. Urgent Care. Andy Paolacci has got a guest for us.
Yes, here guys. I've got Mark Williams, a very victorious Mark Williams from the Boronia Football Club. Now, Mark, a fairly even first half in that game today. What was the difference in that third quarter to really, gain the momentum, take control, and win quite comfortably in the end?
Yeah, you're right. It was very tight all day. I just think in the third quarter, our quicker blokes, we got a few young blokes out there, they sort of just got out in the open. We sort of opened it up in a couple of patches. It was still tight, but we just found probably 2 or 3 times where we just get clear and made the most of it.
Fantastic. Now, confidence must be high, 7 in a row, and now you look towards a big game next week against the Wantirna South Football Club. How do you approach this next game?
Just the same as we have every other game, I guess. But yeah, it is important. But we'll do our rehab on Monday night, go to the pools, and then just focus on what we need to do against Wantirna South. They've got some good players, so we'll have to probably lock down on a few of them, and hopefully we can get another win.
And what are the foundations of the Boronia Football Club, or what are the beliefs, the ethos that you guys believe or that you work towards to obviously strive for premiership glory each year?
I was my first year at the club, but this year we've sort of just really focused on everyone's got their role. It's a pretty simple game if everyone really just focuses on their little bit and what they have to do, and we all know that if everyone does their bit, then we'll be successful and hopefully win a flag, see what happens.
Guys, do you have some questions for Mark?
Mark, it's Ben Warren Smith in the caravan, mate. Great win by the boys today again. There on the ground, you can't say that you enjoy playing in that.
I would have said that I didn't enjoy it if we didn't win, but once you win, it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, there's a few boys in there a bit sore and sorry, but yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you win.
Did you approach the game differently this week, knowing that the back end of this week was going to be very wet and potentially it was going to rain for the whole game today? Was there something that you tweaked in your game plan that you were going to bring to the table today to be able to knock over Doncaster?
Yeah, we definitely wanted to focus on moving the ball quickly. We didn't want to overuse it, and I think early on we sort of did a little bit, but we just wanted to make sure we got one handball and kicked it long to space and let our quick blokes try and run onto it, which worked in the second half.
Willow, it's Peter Baird here, mate. You spoke about the midfield getting on top in that third quarter and providing the spark, but from me watching from the sidelines, it was a couple of real passages of play, some brilliance from Jason Heath that really got the team up and going. He's so important to this football club, isn't he?
Oh, definitely. He's a good character and he's good to have around the club. I've played with him obviously at Scoresby, and he's just so strong and just makes a contest every time, especially when it's wet like that. He holds his ground, and when he didn't mark it, he got it down to the Crummers, and they finished, so it was good.
And you said it's your first year here at Boronia, but another guy whose first year it is as well, who's been hugely important to the revitalisation of this group, is your senior coach Mark Hardy, at 41 years of age. He just demands guys get on board and follow his example. He's just unbelievable person and footballer and leader out there on the ground.
Oh, for sure. I've never met a bloke like him, especially 41 years old. I definitely won't have that sort of motivation for footy once I get to that age. But nah, he doesn't stop. He works hard. He's pretty fit and just really demands that everyone is on board and does everything that he at the start he was sort of struggled a bit with the game plan, but we've just started taking it on probably the last 6 or 7 weeks, getting better, and yeah, he's been really good for the boys.
Mark, it's Billy Vickers here. Firstly, congratulations on the fantastic win out there today, mate. Look, really taxing conditions out there. The boys pulled through and got the win. That's 7 in a row now. Obviously, a big one next week. It's really important for you guys to be playing your best football at this time of year, and it looks as though it's really coming to the fore for you guys at the moment.
Oh, definitely. We knew probably the last 6 weeks as we've been winning that the next 4 weeks were going to be pretty important. We were 1 game behind. We knew that we had to win at least 2 of the 3, but we want to win all 3 of them. But definitely, if we win next week, that's going to go a long way for us getting a double chance, which is what we want, which makes it a lot easier once you come to finals.
And working under the magnificent Mark Hardy must be a great experience for you, Mark, down here. I think Peter Baird, he's just telling me he's already asked you that. Of course he has. Yeah. But, well, Mark Hardy, he's a legend down here already, and he's only 3/4 of the way through the season. The boys obviously really like playing for him.
Oh, definitely. He has. As I said, he's got a good vibe around the boys. He's pretty hard on the boys, but he also knows when to have a bit of fun, and the boys really take to him and really want to play good footy for him.
And it might be cold tonight, but will you have a bit of fun tonight after a victory like that?
Yeah, we've got a function tonight, 90s theme, so I don't know what I'm going to dress as.
Oh, what are you going as? You know what you're going as.
I'll probably get a fine because I don't have any outfit that hopefully might slip under the radar.
Well, by the 90s, Mark Hardy had 200 games under his belt, didn't he?
He was just saying in the showers last week that was his heyday. He was in his late 20s in the 90s, so he's been young.
Oh, fantastic stuff, mate. Great to have a chat with you. Enjoy the 90s themed night, and good luck against Wantirna South next year and the final 3 matches after that one and the final series to come. It's getting very exciting.
No worries. Thanks, fellas. Cheers.
Thank you very much to Mark Williams down with Andy Paolacci on the boundary ride, on the boundary side, thanks to Akira Urgent Care this afternoon. Let's have a breakout here on EFL Game Day because there's still plenty to go through. Ben Waterworth is working feverishly behind the scenes to make sure after this break we can give you many around the ground final scores across all 4 divisions. We'll be back in just a moment.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tag. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week. And I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a race tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get a spray tan the Friday night before a game.
Oh, nice.
Wash all the jumpers. And of course, he is Glenn Harcher, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
If it was up to Dino, he's winning the league B&F, our B&F.
How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1/4.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
Desperately need budget-friendly windows? Visit T&B Discount Window Warehouse. You'll have the right solution for you. T&B has new and surplus windows to suit any budget needs, and you'll still have spare change to finish off your renovation. Visit T&B's new Superstore, Unit 4, 116 to 118 Canterbury Road in Kilsyth. T&B Discount Window Warehouse. Part of the EAL and AW Window Transport Group, your number 1 in window transport.
Call 1300 075 038.
Program sponsor.
EFL TV is back and better than ever. Head to efl.org.au every Thursday morning to check out the new episode of EFL TV. EFL TV features weekly interviews with players and special guests, and the EFL Media Team always discuss all the big issues in the Eastern Football League. And you can get involved by voting for your favourite EFL Player of the Week. EFL TV, live and local for your footy every Thursday morning at efl.org.au. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
Welcome back out here to Tormore Reserve in Boronia, and we're just wrapping up what has been a clinical performance by Boronia, 6-14-50, defeating Doncaster 3-5